Hey guys, good evening. Good evening, Obodo Farm. How's everyone doing? I hope you are doing well tonight. I hope everybody's good. You're welcome. Welcome to our live stream today. How's everybody doing? Happy New Week. Let me greet you properly. The way they greet in Nigeria. You know, Nigerians have a greeting for each day and each event. Oh my God. I'm not sure there are any other Africans that greet like Nigeria. If it's a new month, it's Happy New Month. Okay? So we take our greetings very, very seriously in Nigeria. I'm greeting you guys. Happy New Day. Happy Happy New Week. Happy end of month. Can you guys hear me? As hello to now welcome Obodo Farm. Who was here yesterday? I am good. Babyosa, thank you, my darling. I am very, very good. Thank you. Who was here yesterday? Who was privileged to be here yesterday? I think I had like one of the most amazing, if not the very best show I've ever done since we started this live broadcast on this platform yesterday. Oh my goodness. If you have not seen that video, I highly, strongly, extremely recommend that you go and watch that show from yesterday. Oh my God. Were you here yesterday, baby? Oh my God. We had a guest that, oh my God, she spoke and everybody listened. She's an African queen, an African mommy. And yesterday was amazing. It was, please go and watch it. You will learn so many things that that will change and impact your life in a very positive way. Gigi, I see you. I am doing great. I'm on holidays, so yeah, my holidays began today. I am free and I'm taking a vacation even from YouTube. So today I've just said I need to do this because this has been on my mind to do for a while now. If you have not yet subscribed and you are here, what are you waiting for? How can you be here? You're receiving all these doses of knowledge every day and you are not subscribed to this platform. That's got to be like, it's a crime. It's got to be a crime for you to be like that. You got to subscribe so that you can, be part of the family. And you can also not comment when we're having the live shows, except you are a subscriber. So please give this video a thumbs up as you are coming into the studio and smash that subscription button. Is completely free of charge. I know a lot of Africans, people always fear when they hear subscription, their mind will be say, am I going to pay? It is free of charge, no payment, okay? And if you hit the notification bell, you're always notified whenever we are live, okay? So I'm just going to jump right into it. Why are we talking about self-esteem? Today, I'm here to talk about self-esteem, okay? Why is it important for us to talk about low self-esteem? Okay? It's a crime. Eunice says it's a crime against humanity not to subscribe, right? I cannot just believe how stingy some people can be. You'll be here. Sometimes we have over 1,000 people here watching. So just to give you that gift of subscription is something that they cannot give. People, the stinginess, not be here. Something that is free, you can still not give it. What if it's something that will cost you? What will you do? Now, wow, God is watching. Oh, God is watching. All those people that are here, you are not subscribed, and you are here every day. You say, Auntie B, you are doing a good job. Auntie B, you are doing a good job. Ordinary subscription, you cannot subscribe. All right, you. I leave you. I leave you to your heart and your conscience. Yeah. Why do we want to talk about this very, very important matter tonight? So we have a lot of people who come on this platform to share their experiences, and by the grace of God, we've managed to create a safe place for people to come and express themselves, because we now realize that your healing actually starts when you are vulnerable enough to share your pain. You are able to speak your truth. This is my truth. And you share it. That is when your healing begins. You don't even start on the journey of your healing until you are able to share or talk about your pain. You need to be able to talk about it, no matter how painful that it is. Okay? And it is so powerful having that confidence to be able to come forward, even when you feel very vulnerable. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, uh, but there is power in storytelling. And what you do when you share your story is that you're not only helping yourself, you're also helping other people who are in similar situations, for them to know that they are not alone. Yeah, subscription is completely free, free of charge. Yeah. So there is power in being vulnerable and being able to share your story. And for you to heal, you need to be able to, speak your truth and speak it with boldness. Okay? Thank you. So, we got a lot of women coming here to share their experiences about what they've been through in relationships, either with their parents or with their partners or with their boyfriends or whatever you want to call it, whatever label. We've had all. We've had all. We've had people who've come to share their relationship with their parents, people who've come to share about their relationship with their significant others. But tonight, we're going to be focusing on why people have low self-esteem. Okay? Because a lot of people who end up in relationship that doesn't serve them. Okay? The reason why people tolerate very parasitic relationships is because they have low self-esteem. I see it all the time. All the time. I see it here. When people come to me, Auntie B, this is what happened to me, this is what happened to me, I just I just know where the person is coming from. A young lady reached out to me last week. I think I mentioned her story here, where I was saying that she was dating a Nigerian guy. She's a non-Nigerian, and she was saying that she was doing all these things for this guy, and still the guy was just playing with her, and she was kneeling down begging, and she was crying. When she finished telling me the story, I said, "Oh my God, what I can see from everything you told me is that there are some unresolved issues here with your esteem." So I said I could tell that this young lady had low self-esteem. I don't know where it's coming from, but she agreed. When I told her, she started crying. Then I advised her. I told her to go for therapy. She should go and get some therapy so she can get treated, because the opposite of low self-esteem is confidence. If you don't have confidence in yourself, then you don't believe in your who you are as a person. The other day we talked about identity, which is about who you are. So low self-esteem now, or esteem, self-esteem generally is about how you see yourself. Okay? That's different. Identity is about who you are. Esteem is about how you see yourself. How do you see yourself? Okay? How do you see yourself? So, I've got a couple of shots I want to show you guys. I like to behave like a lecturer that I'm not, but I just like, things to make sense, So, I try to explain with a lot of things. When I'm doing my research, I write things down, so that you guys understand. I make it as plain as possible, right? So, a quick Google search about self esteem says that it is confidence in one's own worth or abilities, self respect. So, it is the way you feel about yourself in terms of your worthiness and your ability and self respect. It's very, very simple. How do you see yourself? Okay, so identity is about who you are. Self esteem is about how you see yourself. Okay? So if you do not see yourself in a certain light, no matter how great you are, but if you do not see yourself in your true self, how you really are, then you have issues of low self-esteem. And I said that the reason why a lot of people get into this sort of relationship that doesn't serve them, parasitic relationship they have no business being into, and why a lot of women become victims of different sort of abuses is because of low self-esteem. All right. And now low self-esteem is when someone lacks confidence about who they are and what they can do. They often feel incompetent, you feel unloved or inadequate. And people who experience low self-esteem also have negative thinking in general. Okay. So low self-esteem is linked to low self-worth, and low self-esteem reflects on your outlook about life, because you always feel like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. You don't believe in your competence. You don't believe in your abilities. The way you see yourself as somebody that is never good enough. And where does this come from? My people, where does it come from? We are going to talk about how it starts. When you are raising children, when children are young, okay, the best thing that any parent can give their children is love and helping them to build their confidence. I first saw this when I was training to be a social worker several years ago, and I did my placement in a school. It was a primary school here in the UK. And we will identify children who come from families they call those families they call them what's the name that they call them? Let me try and remember the names. Escaping my mind now. They are vulnerable children because of their circumstances. Okay, so they are often neglected. Maybe there are issues of alcohol or drug abuse in the family, and also issues of mental health issues with one of the parent, or just general abuse is in the family towards the child. Okay, so these children become very vulnerable. They are children in need. Okay, that's how we call them. That's the word I was looking for. Child in need. That's how they call it. So most of the confidence or lack of confidence that people have as adults begins when they are children. It starts from when you were growing up as a child. Okay, so I had this young lady come to me. She's reached out to me a couple of days ago. Not days, it's been months, and I couldn't get back to her because obviously too many things on my plate. Finally, I looked for her message. I was scrolling, and I finally found her. And I said, "How are you?" And she said, "Oh, I'm there, Auntie B. I'm just hanging on." I said, "How is life?" She said, "Well," because she was talking to me about a relationship. She was dating a guy. And she said that she met the guy on Facebook, and she used to see and go and see the guy. They live, they don't live in the same country, but they both live in America. One of them is in North America, one is in America, and when she talked about everything, I said, okay, I think there's so many things going on in this relationship. And I could see that she was just so needy for love. She was seeking for love and marriage. She didn't care what was happening in that relationship. All she was looking for was marriage and having a family. So I decided to send her a message, a voice message. I said, tell me a little bit about your childhood, because it doesn't make sense. This relationship is not working. Every day, you and this guy, you are fighting, but you are still planning marriage. You are calling him your fiance. How can you be calling him your fiance when the relationship is already shaky? There's something wrong. And then she opened up and started telling me things about her childhood. Oh my God, I wept. I really, really did. There are so many parents who are so toxic. You see how we talk about toxic relationships? Oh my God. Some African parents they are from hell. This young girl told me that what her mother did to her from Nigeria to the diaspora, they live in the diaspora now, is unimaginable. And the funny thing is that this same mother didn't do the same thing to the siblings. Okay, she didn't do the same thing to the sibling, and I understand the mother is also watching our show. So if you are that mother out there today that you've been so mean spirited to your own child that you carried in your womb, there's a Bible verse that says that, will a mother not have compassion on her child? Or will a mother, how does it say? It say, will a mother not love her child or not have compassion on her suckling child? Something like that. Trying to paraphrase. But God says, even if they are. So that means God was already knew that there are some mothers that will be so unfortunate like that. She said she's the first child. Yes, favor. She said that her mother was mean. Not mean, she was like, she will punish her for no reason. The things that the siblings will get away with, the mother will punish her. And the kind of punishment, usual discipline that you discipline children, because as a parent, you know that when you're parenting your children, you have to balance the love with discipline. Okay? And there's a difference between discipline and punishment. And that's one thing that our African parents do not understand. Most of them were so wicked and just punishing and punishing their children. Punishment is out of a very, very bad place. It's not changing a child. It's teaching the child that you are just an uncaring and a very bad parent. Discipline is correction. You correct the child, you make them understand why you are correcting them, and you make them know it. And it's not something that is going to hurt that will damage them. Discipline is not something that will mar that child for life. There's a difference, my people. I also learned this when I was training. There's a difference between discipline and, please, guys, I don't have time to go into that. Go and Google it if you're a parent. Yeah, Gigi, you are here. Okay, that's Isaiah 49:15. What does it say? Please just put it in the comment section for me, Gigi, my Bible scholar. Thank you. Yeah. So there's a difference between discipline and punishment. Go and Google it. There's a difference. What you should do as a good, responsible, loving parent is to discipline your children. Do not punish them. Okay? Because in discipline, there's no cruelty. But in punishment, it's all cruel. There's nothing good about it. Faith, you are here. There's a discipline. There's the difference. So we used to pick those children in the schools, and then we will teach them confidence building, because those children automatically, you will see them in class. It's them that will fail. It's them that will come to school with uniforms that are not cleaned. It's them that will come to uniform that are torn. It's them that they perform less because of what is happening at home. And because the schools here are so good, they pick it up in the school. So as student social workers, we would, we had different programs we design just to, help them to build their confidence. So they will normally stay, during class, or when they have breaks, we'll take them into a room, we'll teach them things, we'll motivate them, we'll do different things with the children. They are called child in need. That's what they call them. But in Africa, we didn't have that. Okay? I don't know if we still have that today. Mhm. Right. Thank you very much, Kuli. I always like your comment. You said interpretation. Your interpretation: discipline fosters respect, while punishment instills fear. Yeah. Punishment is damaging to a child. And this young lady began to tell me how her mom would spit on her. Her mom would call her a bastard. Her mom would tell her, "Who you are never going to be anything. You will not amount to anything." In any kind of, when we talk about emotional abuse that you can think of, that some Mongo Park, you know, do to their girlfriends or wife. This is what this mother did. Yeah, she was cursing her, your own child. What would the child do that will make you open your mouth and spit on them? Do you know what it means? So of course, after so many years, and she even told me that it got so bad that she won't even get the siblings, the younger ones, to go and gather, and all of them will be beating her. So she was like the black sheep. The mother just singled her out and hated her for no reason. Ha! So she said she grew up without love. And as a result of that, she's been desperate to have her own family. Okay? She's just been desperate to have her own family. I say, oh, it broke my heart, because I was thinking about this young girl. I say, hey, Oh my God, some African mothers are just satanic. You will see them on Sunday, they will put on gogoro and tie their gele going to church. They will sit in front, they will hold a rosary, they will do as if they are the cleanest. But at home, the kind of wickedness they exhibit. And it's this same mothers as well. It's mostly mothers, oh, fathers, their own is worse. Or their own is different. Let me not say worse, because it's mothers are mostly disciplined. Fathers, their own, when they want to do abuse, their own is different. Okay, but we are talking about the kind of punishment that will break your child. They grow up damaged. This girl was crying on the phone. She was crying. She said the time in her time zone when we were talking was around 4 a.m. I said, don't worry, go and sleep. But you cannot marry now. Okay? Not that I don't want you to marry. She said she's always wanted to build her own family so that she can have her own children and teach her own children what love is. She just wants her own nuclear family. I say, well, your desire to have your own family is valid. Okay? Yes, it is valid. But if you go into marriage the way you are now, it will not work. Because for you to have a healthy marriage, you need to have two healthy adults. But you are not healthy. Even though the guy was misbehaving as well. But I said, you yourself, you are not healthy. Because she told me how she was, she couldn't control her emotions. She will be busting out. She cannot control herself. She will cry. She will be teary. She will be cussing when she's upset. I said, there are so many underlying issues. Because of what your mother has done to you, you need to go to therapy. You need to pray to address them. Okay? I say you have serious low self-esteem. So don't even go into marriage now because it won't work. So, my people, I decided that, okay, let's talk about low self-esteem tonight. So I've named some of the things. I have so many things here. I don't even know which one is which first. Let me be going through them. I have like 10 things that we need to do to build self-esteem. We'll get to that later. But first of all, I want to talk about what causes low self-esteem. When adults begin to have low self-esteem, there are things that causes people to develop. Children are not born with it, okay? But it comes as a result of childhood and other things, okay? And these are some of the signs of low self-esteem. Okay, let's just read this quickly and then we'll move on. When you constantly saying negative things and being critical about yourself, you never say anything good about yourself. Even when something good happens to you, you don't see it. People will see it. You even think that, they have ulterior motive for saying something good about you. Everything about you has to be negative, 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 and you're always focusing on your negatives and ignoring your achievements. You can never praise yourself. You see some ladies, no matter high achieving they are, done so well for themselves, but they cannot even celebrate themselves. Abby, you say you can relate. Oh, my darling. I can relate to this story. I just wanted my own family and show them love because I wasn't shown love as a kid. Oh, I'm so sorry, my darling. Mm, wow. This is going to open a lot of can of worms because a lot of people are on this table. You are not alone, my love. Gigi said marriage is not the way to go now. She needs help, counseling, therapy, training on assertiveness. Yes, prayers. Spot on. You're right. Training on assertiveness. That's what we used to actually call that. We call it assertive training. Okay, confidence building and assertive training. And you can do it with children. And I mean, it's amazing to see how the children will transform right within your eyes within a few weeks. You see them, they begin to come out of their shell. The children that didn't used to talk, they will be the last person to raise their hand up in class. They'll be the last person to even say anything. Even when anything happened to them, they're always so mopey, so teary, so sad. You begin to see them blossom. It's because they've got so low self-esteem. And the next one is thinking other people are better than you. When you always think other people are better than you, not accepting compliments, feeling sad, depressed, anxious, and ashamed. Sadly, shaming is one of the things that some of these parents who are being so bad, and some of you parents need to go and apologize to your children. You need to really, really beg for their forgiveness because of the damage that some African parents have done. And when I'm talking about African parents, I'm not talking about our great grandfathers. Who I'm talking about even some of them in the diaspora now. Some of them might even be watching this show. Some of you need to go and beg God for forgiveness because of what you've done. Shebi is his auntie that came on the show yesterday. That is a mother. That is a mother that loves. Are you that kind of a mother? Are you that kind of a father? No, 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 no. You are not. To the outside world, you do as if you are this good person. Inside, your children are so you single out this particular child that you put all your hate on for whatever reason. How can you hate your own child? I don't understand it. A child that you carried in your womb, how is it even possible? I don't understand it. So there are so many reasons why people have low self-esteem. But I'm going to just, because of time, the focus is just going to be on childhood experiences, childhood abuse, and traumatic experiences from when, sometimes when people lose, a parent or caregiver, or when people have been so damaged when they were young by parents or their primary caregivers, which can be either your father, your mother, or some African parents, their mouth are razor blade, razor. Like if they open it and say things to children, and the funny thing, children do not forgive, or children do not forget. I beg your pardon, not forgive. Oh, of course they forgive. This one says she's forgiving because I asked her, "Have you had this conversation with your mom?" They talked, and the funny thing is that this same woman. Maybe Annie needs to come and give us a name for women that are mongopaths. We need to look for another name for them. Yeah? Come on, son, sisters, you are here. Oh, you're welcome, my darling. Maybe we need to look for another name. Annie will have to come and give us a name for mothers like this. Okay? Because she said, even now that she's an adult, okay, the woman still has not stopped. She's still carrying on. I said, oh my God. So you had a conversation, and we had a conversation. She didn't apologize. She doesn't even acknowledge what she did to me. And because I can't say to her, why do you still put yourself in that position to even be in their lives? Because the damage has been done already. When somebody is suffering from low self-esteem, then they keep hoping that that parent, even the same parent that has caused it, that they will love them. All they are looking for is love. And they will look for love anywhere, even in the wrong places. Okay? So those are the areas that we're going to focus on. If I can find my talking notes. I don't know which one is next now. Okay, those are the areas that we're going to focus on tonight. Family, parents, parents who are just, they have no clue about what it means to love a child. But the funny thing, the thing that really made me sad about all this is the fact that it's not like they are not capable of love. Oh. Okay, my people. These parents that we're talking about, they are capable of love because they do love the other children. But there's always this one that they single out. Of course, you have some of them that they don't love any of the children at all. They don't love any of the children at all. But in most cases, some of them will just have, one that they singled out that, okay, this one is not deserving of love. And when they grow up, it's that same one that they will now be on her case to go and bring husband. Why are you not bringing husband? Why are you not married? Why are you not this? And they are more likely to get into relationships that does not serve them. They are more likely to get into abusive relationship out of desperation to escape that parent that made them feel like they are not good enough. Yeah, my people, that's the truth. Okay, so we've identified what causes it, and we've also talked about some examples of how to know if you have low self-esteem. Yeah, so we're now going to talk about, let's assume that you now know that you have low self-esteem. The reason why you are behaving the way you are behaving now is because you have low self-esteem. So we have what do they call it? The diagnosis is here. What is the solution? What is the solution? This thing I'm saying now, I'm just saying it like under many minutes, but it is deep. It is really, 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 really deep. Deep, deep. Let me show you something. Let me share my screen and show you something. This thing is actually deep. The what I feel like we need to talk a little bit more about uh how some of these things happen when parents are not aware. If you don't know that, okay, oh, this is what I'm doing, oh, to my child, oh, this is what I've done, oh, it has long lasting impact. Okay, long lasting impact it has on your child's life, my people. Long lasting impact it has on children. The two things, the best gift you can give to your children is not even the education that you give them, that is good. It's not the clothes and shoes that you buy them, that is good. But it is the love that you've shown them, they will remember, or the lack of love. And the worst thing is parents who have taken out their anger, their frustration, whatever it is, maybe, especially for mothers, maybe their husband has not been good to them, they were not happy in the marriage or whatever, they take out the frustration on their children. Okay? So it will just damage their self-worth about themselves. The value that they place on themselves is ekpini. The value will just be so low. You know, their appreciation of themselves is just it's too much. It's just it's not there. It's not there. And you can see them, they will be doing very well academically, in career and everything like that. But when it comes to relationship, that's where the wahala is. Okay, these are more examples of low self-esteem, comparing yourself to your peers and seeing yourself as lacking in some way. That's signs of low self-esteem again. Before I get to the solutions, blaming ourselves for the actions of others. You see people that are always saying, I'm sorry. When you are always apologizing, every time I'm sorry, even if you don't do anything wrong, you cannot say a word without saying I'm sorry. Then you need to check yourself. You should be, oh, confidence is so good. I wish everybody was confident, but it doesn't happen like that. Okay, some people need to work on, like Gigi said, work on their assertiveness, work on your confidence and all that. Okay, and I'm going to be sharing with you some ways that you can do it. Both, as a Christian, I'll share with you some scriptures, and also if you are not a Christian, other things like that will help you in confidence building. All right, always apologizing, seeking approval of strangers, validation of from others. Some people that you don't even know, you're always seeking their validation. What will people say? And how would they see me? Always feeling frightened to reach out, even for things that you can do, your goals, because you have so little faith in your abilities. You have no faith in your abilities because you've been told over and over and over by somebody who is meant to love you that you are not good enough. That you are not good enough. Imagine a mother. Ah, when that young woman told me that thing, how her mom used to, he said, my mom used to, she would open her mouth and spit on me. She would tell my younger ones to gather and be beating me, even though I'm the senior. So they had no respect for her. Wow. I don't know. Wickedness did this life, oh. Mm. Wickedness did this life, my people. No. Okpo. Wickedness did this life. So, yeah, it includes playing down your achievements, feeling undeserving of kindness and help, when you always feel like you don't deserve help and kindness. Fearing rejection, you fear being rejected. Another lady told me about how she was kneeling down to beg somebody. I say, hey, you kneel down to beg a boyfriend. I say, get out of my car, get out of my car. Beg. Beg for what? So that he will not break up with you. Ah, that's a big, low self-esteem red flag. Fearing of rejection. You are in a relationship, the relationship is so bad, but you are clinging on to it with your life. It's like your life depends on it. That's fear of rejection. A deep-rooted fear of rejection. Like, oh, now I finally have this person. Who wants me again? He will want me again. A confident person will walk away from a relationship that is bad with their head upright like this, up high like this, knowing that I don't send you. I too much. Other people will see me and love me. But somebody that has this deep-rooted fear of rejection will want to just stay in you know, a bad relationship because they are afraid of being alone. They're afraid of rejection. Yeah, that's one of it. Always feeling helpless, hopeless, worthless, and unlovable. Not feeling that you deserve love. You don't feel that nobody will ever love you because somebody has told you, a parent has told you that nobody will ever love you. Because if you are loved by your parents, then you grow up with so much love around you. When you grow up as an adult, that love will radiate and you will always know and recognize it. So when somebody brings Lori Hero to you, you will just know that Ele is just Lori Hero. But when you grow up feeling unloved and feeling unworthy, then you think you are not worthy of love, but you are, my darling. You are. Every human being is worthy of love. Every child is worthy of love. Okay? No matter what they said to you, even if it's your parent that said that to you, they are wrong. I am putting it out there today in capital letter, boldly written. Write it, put it in your mirror every morning in the bathroom so you read it. Say, I am worthy of love. I am worthy of love. I am worthy to be loved. You are worthy of love. You are not worthless. Okay? Considering yourself a burden, when you always consider that you're a burden to others, you give so much of yourself to others that there's nothing left. Nothing. You keep giving, 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 and most times it's people that you are giving are not even giving back. Have you seen those kind of people before? Always giving, 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 giving. They wear themselves out from giving. I'm not saying it's not good to give, but please, not at your own expense or at the expense of giving to people who don't even, they don't even see you. They don't even recognize or appreciate you. Don't give at your own detriment. Okay? And I'm not talking about financial giving alone. No, some people give their time, they give their resources, they give their energy, they give their love, they give their commitment. You just give, 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 give. There's nothing left. When you get home, you are depleted. You are empty. And even in places of worship, you see people like that. In churches, you can see people like that. They are tapped out from giving. And they're in this ministry. They are in this group. They are in this group. They are in this group. They are in this group because they're always trying to fill something up. They give so much. Putting yourself down. This one, I don't like it one bit. I'd never allow anybody speak to me and say a derogatory word about themselves. I correct it immediately. I'm stupid. Oh, now, foolish me. Mm-mm. Please, don't put yourself down like that. Never ever say it there. Any word that does not praise and uplift you, don't say it. Anything that puts you down, any negative word, don't speak it to yourself. Because words are very powerful. If you hear things continually, whether you are the one saying it to yourself or somebody saying it to you, then you begin to believe it and then you begin to act in that line or in that light. Okay? You are what you say. All right? You are what you say. So say something good about yourself. Don't say something negative. And we're going to talk about that, a little bit when we are talking about, how to turn this thing around, how to correct the damage that has been done to you. How do you build your confidence and assertiveness? Yeah, we're going to talk about a bit more about, putting yourself down. Words are very powerful. Very, very, very powerful. Words are life. Remember that God created the whole world with words. Genesis chapter 1. Let there be light, and there was light. Let there be animals. Let there be gorillas. There were gorilla. Let there be lion. There were God created the whole world as massive as this world is with the word of his mouth. So words are the most powerful things that exist because they are not just words. Some people don't know that they are not just words, and that's why you use them carelessly. You just use them because you say, "I should be na talk now." It don't mean anything. Na talk. It means something. It means a lot. Hmm? So putting yourself down is a no-no. Never feeling good enough. You never feel like you are good enough. You always feel like somebody, especially in relationship, you never feel good enough for that person. You think somebody is doing you a favor. You have friends, you think the friends are doing you a favor by being your friend. No, no. This is a sign of low self-esteem. Hmm? You are never able to accept compliments or you translate them into pity. Yeah, you say, I don't say you just they pity me. You wear a very beautiful dress and somebody say, you look gorgeous today. You say, oh, you know, okay. You just want me to feel good today. Or you're just trying to help me. Take the compliment. If somebody say you look good, yes, say, thank you. I know it. Okay. It's not being cocky. You should already know by yourself that you look good. Compliment yourself. Don't wait for people to. You see, some people that have never been complimented in their life, when they see, especially this happens to women, if a girl has never been complimented in her life, and that's why it's so good to compliment your children. When they see the opposite sex now says to them, "Oh, you gorgeous." You see, as we black, so our skin do when we know they blush, the person go blush. All the blush go come out for him body because they have never been complimented before. This is the first time they're hearing somebody say something that will make them feel warm inside. So they can also translate it very quickly as love. No, it's not. And lastly, before we move on quickly because of time, you know how this time goes very quickly. Time is not usually our friend here. Oh my God, time is gone. Oh, okay. Lastly, taking constructive when there is constructive criticisms as a personal attack. Okay, not being able to take constructive criticisms. That's a sign of low self-esteem. Okay, you should be able to. When somebody does not, they give you feedback in a way that is constructive, please be able to take it. All right, you should be able to take it. Right, I finished going through that. Now we are going to talk about solutions. Okay, let's talk about solutions because we are solution focused, right? We are solution focused here, so we are going to talk about solutions. By now, if you've listened to me for the past 40 minutes, I think you should be able to identify uh, that, yeah, you fall into this category. And it's not a bad thing because the day that you know that there's a problem, that's where the day that the solution begin. Okay? So it's not a bad thing. Don't be in denial. If somebody tells you, or if you come to that realization that you have low self-esteem, it's not a bad thing because you cannot heal except you know what is wrong with you. If like the pain you go doctor, go tell us say na hand they pain you, they give you medicine for hand, you will never heal. But like they pain you, tell doctor say na back they pain you, they give you medicine for back. So it is actually a good thing for you to know that okay, this is where I am. I have some issues that I need to deal with. I need to work on in terms of my esteem. What do I do? No baton. That is just it. It's as simple as that. Then the work you do, to regain your confidence, to build your assertiveness, and to remove yourself from that low self-esteem WhatsApp group begins. Yes, there's a low self-esteem WhatsApp group. A lot of women are in it. Some men as well. Okay? There's work that needs to be done. I'm gonna quickly go through I'm gonna go through some things. Um Then I will come to the scripture ones. See what I've been looking for. I was looking for this thing since I look for entire I no see am. It's talking about what causes low self-esteem, unsupportive parents and carers or others that play an influential role in your life, friends who are bad influences, and stressful life events such as a divorce, moving houses, that not too applicable, and trauma or abuse. So it's the first and the last one that we're talking about: unsupportive parents, carers, critical parents, abusive parents, and trauma and abuse. Now you want surface. When will they look for you since we not see you? Get out of here. We're done with that. We're moving on. So we've come to a place now where you know now that okay, there's an issue. There's a reason why things are the way they are. What do I do? How do I solve this problem? I have this problem. How do I solve it? What do I do to correct it? Okay? So I'm going to run through some things that you need to do. All right? Let me put my pretty face so that people will be looking at me. You know, I like to put my picture so that people will be looking at me and be looking at me small before I continue again with the slide. So, the first thing you need to do if you are in this WhatsApp group to remove yourself is recognize that this is not your fault. Okay? It is not your fault. It is what you've been through. This is what you've been told. It is what your, like this lady I was talking about, her mother, this is what her mother did to her. Okay? Come to that realization and please just recognize that. And also know that you are good. You are a good person. You are good. And you are good at something. Okay? Everybody is good at something. Thank you, Monilola. Yes. I like to. Yes. So be kind to yourself, my people. Be kind to yourself. Be very, very kind to yourself. Assertiveness is something you're going to have to work on. Okay? It's not something that will come overnight. Yeah? But it's part of the process. Learning to be assertive. But you're going to have to learn it. This is why I say, if you are a people pleaser, for instance, and you are this person that always wants to please everybody, you cannot say no. Learn, write it down. If they are not afraid to ask, or if they are not ashamed to ask, I will not be ashamed to say no. Okay? If somebody is not ashamed to always ask you, for instance, those people that like to borrow money, every time they're always calling you to borrow money because you cannot say no. All right? Every time they say, borrow me money, today 50 pounds, tomorrow 100 pounds, tomorrow 20 pounds, and they never pay you back because you're always pleaser, people pleaser. If they are not ashamed to ask, don't be ashamed to say, no, sorry, I don't have. No. Repeat it. Stand in front of the mirror and keep repeating it. No, I'm sorry. No, I don't have. I don't have. So you learn assertiveness. And assertiveness also including yourself, professing positive things about yourself. I am I am beautiful. I can achieve my dreams. I have what it takes. There's a poem that my principal in secondary school used to make us recite every day when I was in secondary school. Mr. Yakubu, may your soul rest in peace. There are some things that people in your life as children do that you will never forget. I was in primary school over 40 years ago, and I can still remember my principal from secondary school. His name was Alhaji Mr. Yakubu. That was his name. And he was an English graduate from the University of Benin. And he used to make us stand in the assembling ground. Those of you that went to schools in Nigeria, secondary school back then, in the 80s, he would say, I can become whatever I choose to be. I can be what I want to be. No Lord, no nay can make us nay. For I believe that man is a potential doctor, a potential lawyer, a potential engineer, a potential accountant, whatever I want to be. If I set my heart at it, I can become it. So I need to work hard at it. I keep working hard at it until I achieve it. Every single day. This man will make us recite this. We were children, no, we didn't remember. I mean, we didn't even understand what it was. It was until I became an adult But Alaji, you had a principal like that too. Oh, God bless Alaji, Mr. Yakubu. The man is dead now. He was a good principal. He would stand in the assembly with his cane. Every day all of us memorize that poem by force because if you don't say it, they will come and flog you. But I realized that he was actually helping us build confidence when I became an adult. He was telling us that we can become whatever we choose to be. Okay? IT babe, thank you very much. I actually prefer people want to give me super chat, please. I prefer this one because YouTube take 30% of whatever you give me. So I prefer what's it called? I prefer PayPal or Cash App because YouTube native they be as you see there. So 30%, they take more than Jesus. Jesus they take God they take 10%, YouTube they take 30%. Only no one. Yeah, so if you want to do a donation instead of super chat, please just do Cash App or PayPal. Thank you very much. So, my people, as I was saying, Dr. Mr. Yakubu was helping us, was telling us to know that we can become whatever we choose to be. He was teaching us to recite it every day so that we will know that the only obstacle in our way is ourselves. But as long as we are ready to work hard at it, that we can become whatever we choose to be. I grew up reciting that poem. Secondary school in Nigeria is 5 years. Okay, he didn't start with us when I was in secondary school. When I was in year one, what they call it, grammar. I don't know how they call it again. I forgot, But it didn't start from when I started secondary school. But later on, I think I was in three when it started. I forgot what they call those classes those days now. So affirmation is part of it. Positive affirmation. You stand in front of the mirror. Write it down so that you don't forget. And make Esther do it all the time. She does it when she was living at home. She used to have it all over. If you see her room everywhere, she write and put. I can become whatever I choose to be. I have the strength to withstand whatever life throws at me. I am beautiful. I am the best. I am the best of the best. If it's at this exam I'm going to write, I will pass it. I know that I have the intellect. I just need to study. Just anything that you feel like you're not good at, just write it down, be quoting it. It's so powerful. Yes, Kumbi. You said you wrote it down, you typed it on your children's room affirmation in their bedroom to read it every day. Yes. I am confident and I can become what I want to be by God's grace and hard work. That's what you wrote for your children, right? Oh my God. Good. Very, very good. It will be a very big disgrace or a disservice to our children if we raise children like that in 2021, children who lack confidence. It's happened to some of us, unfortunately, but we can do better. And that's why we are doing this show today. Then build positive relationships. Biko no. Build positive relationship. Whether it's friendship relationship or love relationship, any relationship that is not positive. You cannot be suffering from low self-esteem and you have friends that are competitive and constantly putting you down. Okay, if a friend is constantly putting you down, maybe they didn't know it, you call their attention to it the first time, they do it again, end that friendship quickly. Don't be friends with people that are competitive, right? That's not a positive relationship. Build positive relationship. Friends that will encourage you, that will hold you up. The days that you are feeling blue, that you are feeling down, you can call them and say, "This is how I'm feeling." They say, "Oh, come on, babe. Let's go out. Let's go and have a drink, or let's go to the gym. Let's go for a run." They will hold you up. Those are the kind of relationship you should build. And make a decision. Write it down that the day somebody I'm dating puts me down, they say something negative about me, that day I am walking. The day they be like Bliss. Some of you now never married, they don't they slap on up and down. Be like Bliss. Say any day I see hand up, before the hand come down, I am gone. That is why people tolerate very toxic relationships. Okay? Yeah. So begin to work on your self-esteem, begin to develop it, begin to practice. It's practice, so it's not going to be a day's job. Okay? You're going to have to do a lot of work by yourself. Some of you probably need to go to therapy. Okay? Okay? So this one says, this one I've got here says, it says, be mindful of your talk. Okay, we talked about it before. What you say, your confession. Limit the time that you spend with the people who make you feel icky. Mhm. People who make you feel like you are not good enough, who make you feel like you are less. Limit your time. I don't care whether they are your parents. Oh, I don't care. An unpleasant feeling. That's the meaning of icky. Very unpleasant. People who make you nasty. People who make you feel unpleasant. Limit the time. You don't need to be in their presence. Like, so that my darling aburo that was telling me about her mom. If I were you, since she's not repentant and she carries on her bullying behavior, even now that you're an adult, I will not spend time in her presence. If I were you, I will not. I will not put myself in a position where she will continue to put me down. While you're trying to build on yourself, distance yourself, okay, from her. You can love her from afar. Whatever you want to do for her from afar, but don't be in the presence, or give them that attention on the phone that they will use and be cursing you again and calling you out and calling you names. No. Okay? Start to practice self-care and praising and lifting yourself up. Please stop comparing yourself to others. All right? Stop comparing yourself to others. Somebody said that comparison is the enemy of happiness. That is the number one enemy of happiness. And then we're going to go to the scriptures. For those of you that are Christians, if you want to see what the Bible says about building your self-esteem, this is what God has said about you. And remember, it's Jehovah that has the final say. Okay? Thank God, common says, our musicians are in the studio, so I'm sure they will sing for me when they come. Who has the final say? Jehovah has the final say. Only God has the final say. Your parents are just the oko to why. That is how they describe it in Yoruba language. They are the vehicle that brought you to this world. They are the transports. God just used them to transport you. If you are that person that has these parents that have torn you down completely, this is what God is saying about you, right from the mouth of the maker of the universe. And the first one here is Joshua 1:9. He said, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Okay? If you have low self-esteem, you don't have courage. But this is what God is saying. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For I am the Lord your God, will be with you wherever you go. Okay? And the second one is Jeremiah 17:7. I screenshotted this so that people want to come back, and those who are not watching now, when they're watching later, they can see the scriptures. He says, be blessed in the one who trusts, but blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. So your confidence should be in God. You are a child of God, so your confidence should be in God. And because what God has said about you is that you should be courageous, then have confidence. Have confidence, build it. Third one is Psalm 27:3. And he said, though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Though war break out against me, even though I will be confident, even then will I be confident. You see how he describe her? He said, war besiege me. There's a breakout of army around me, but I will be confident. So all those people that tore you down, they are the war. You not be Afghanistan war with the talk. Oh. Some of your parents are the army that the scripture is talking about. Some of you is, all those people you dated that told you are never good enough, or the people that broke your confidence. These are the army that besiege you. It's not only Afghanistan army. So don't be afraid, he says. It's just comforting you with this psalm. Say, even though they've done this, you will be confident. I will be confident. Number 4 is Psalm 139, 13 to 14. And David said, "For you created my innermost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well." This is one of my favorite ones. And even if you don't know Bible, you will know this one. This I am fearfully and wonderfully created. A lot of people know it. It's very, very powerful. You knit me together in my mother's womb. You put me together. Knit. You know how they knit cardigan? You knit wool. You knit it. You say, "I will praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made." Write this one down and put it by your mirror because powerful, powerful scripture. This one. Please write it down. Look at it every day. Recite it every day. Say to yourself, "I am fearfully and wonderfully created by God." Okay? That's 4. Moving on quickly. 5, Proverbs is Proverb 3:25, and it says, "Have no fear of sudden disaster or in the ruin that overtakes the wicked, for the Lord will be with you, will be at your side and will keep your foot from being snared." Okay? That's Proverbs. And that's giving you assurance, helping you to build confidence. Okay? It's assuring you of God not departing from you. Mm? Yeah. And how God is going to be by your side. 6, we have Second Chronicles 32, and it says, "With him is only the arm of flesh, but with us is the Lord our God to help us." With him, that's the person that is tearing you down, and those people that think you are not good enough. With them, they have only the arm of flesh. But with us is the Lord our God to help us and to fight our battles. And the people gained confidence from what the King Hezekiah, the king of Judah, said. So this was the King Hezekiah trying to assure the people, was giving the people confidence. And he was telling them they have the arm of flesh, but we have God to fight our battle. So if you've got God, if God be for you, who can be against you? No one. No maga can be against you. Nah. Nah. 7, moving on quickly, Isaiah 32 says, the fruit of that righteousness will be peace. Its effect will be quietness and confidence forever. Confidence when you know the end. If they wake you up, you are confident. If you sleep, you are confident. Anywhere, anytime, you are confident. The confidence just the ooze from your body. Okay? This comes from knowing who you are and also understanding that, you know, the way you see yourself is everything. You need to see yourself in a very positive way, please. Okay? Number 8, for those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar in wings like eagles. They will run and they will not grow weary. They will walk and will not faint. Another translation says, those who wait upon the Lord will renew their strength. Okay? So, this is also giving you assurance about God having your back. And number 9, I've only got 10, so this is number 9. And Isaiah 41 says, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Wow. So fear is not your portion. Do not be afraid. Because a lot of people who have low self-esteem, they also have fear. They are afraid of, the person that have abused them. They are afraid of the world. They are afraid of everything. That's also fear, fear. The opposite of fear is faith. So fear should not even be your portion. If you have fear in your life persistently, there's something wrong. So you need to pray it out, get therapy if you can, but you shouldn't live a life of fear. A life of fear is not a good life. And last but not least, number 10 that I have for you is Philippians chapter 1. And verse 6 says, being confident of this, that he who began the good work in you will carry it to the completion until the day of Jesus Christ. We all know the song, he who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. He who started the work will be faithful to complete it in me. Yeah, this is where we are. Anybody still in that WhatsApp group? How are you feeling? It's time for you to get out. Okay? It's time to get out because it can affect a lot of things. It's time to get out. I've spoken for 1 hour now. It's time for you people to speak. Yes. I have. I've been speaking for 1 hour. My throat is dry. I want to drink water. So it's not going to be long. We're doing maximum 2 hours today. Yeah. Be confident. Why should not you should you not be confident? Be very confident. You are a child of God. You are a child of the King. Know who you are. Okay? You know who you are, and then know it for yourself. Hmm? See yourself as the daughter of a king. Have you seen a princess that behaves like a have you seen a princess that behaves like a maid in a king's palace? When you see a princess, the way they walk in all majesty, in all glory, in confidence. They walk with assertiveness. They give orders. They match with authority. That's who you are because your father is the king. You are the child of a king. You are the son and the daughters of kings. So, Kosaye, there's no room for that. Yeah, I got you. Gigi, you're welcome. My first caller tonight.
Yay! I
I
wanted
can
to be
drink water
the
now. Now that you are here, let me drink water.
I wanted to be the first.
And you are. Welcome, sis.
This is up my street
Uh-huh.
tonight. This is me. You've just described my early years before who I am and what I am today. Thank you so much, Auntie B. You're changing lives every day, every minute, and we are all being transformed. Thank you.
We thank God. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So I'm that girl who was bullied in school. Um, I'm that girl that was called all sorts of names at home. I was called an imbecile and
Hmm.
all kinds of things. Really, many words that I didn't know growing up until I found out what the words were as
Hmm.
I checked my vocabulary growing up. And it was painful because then that meant I was very fearful. I was a very, very timid person.
Hmm.
Um, I achieved a lot academically, probably one of my best pursuits. But but still, I was just not good enough. I was not good enough. Living with my father was very proud of me, but I didn't live very much with him, so I lost all that. Perhaps if I'd lived with him, it would have been different.
Hmm.
But living with my mom um, was very, very toxic,
Hmm.
and the people who surrounded me. So, however, moving on from there, it it sort of like scarred me really.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing about God and me is that even without me trying, He always provided people along the way who guided me. And such people would see the gift in me and then
Hmm.
point me to the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the only thing I had to do really was to believe God at a very young age. I think I
Mm-hmm.
must have been about 9. I can't remember when, but 9 or highest 10
Hmm.
when I became a born again Christian. I knelt in front of a TV and gave my life to Christ. And
Hmm.
because I'm an avid reader, I read the scripture back to front, front to back.
Hmm.
And so through reading scripture, I began to gain confidence. But the confidence didn't really, the fruit of this study didn't come out until much later in my life. But I guess it
Hmm.
was seed sown. And plus those outside of the walls of my family who surrounded me in church. Um, and also teachers in school who saw the gift in me and guided me. Then, when I began to work, my bosses, my managers, who saw the gifts and the talent and guided me. So, along the path, and then there were good pastors actually who guided me. I must say that.
Mm-hmm.
So through that, that sort of helped me to begin to be self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
And it was once when I had my first office job in Victoria, London, that my boss said to me, "You need to go for assertiveness training." I'd
Hmm.
never heard that word before,
Hmm.
but it was a very good manager. Her name Diana Whitworth. I can never forget her name. If she's listening, I don't know whether she is, but thanks, Diana.
She picked it
And
up from
she
work
picked it up
that you
from
needed
work
it.
that I
Hmm.
needed because she saw the way I behaved and everything at work. Very
Yeah.
quiet, very withdrawn,
Yeah.
well mannered and everything.
Yeah.
And, I would be the one who wouldn't talk
Yeah.
in a meeting,
Yeah.
but then I'll go later behind and talk with her and tell her my point.
Yeah.
Then one day she said, "I need to send you for training in this area."
Hmm.
So that was one of the parts that started my journey to gaining confidence. And again, because by virtue of my calling, I have to stand in front of the church from time to time to speak,
Mm-hmm.
to lead worship. And God, with his sense of humor, someone who is so fearful and timid and very shy, um, I actually was the evangelist in my church. It's ironic because when I'm out there, I'm a different person and I'm talking to people on the streets, on the buses, in schools. It's not me. That's the power of the Holy Spirit. But then when I come back to myself, I don't want to talk. So even my pastors couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand it. so so through that, all that informed, my, growing up and getting confident. Also, I had to do a lot of presentation at work. I went for training on how to do presentations. I
Mm-hmm.
went for counseling as well to deal with childhood traumas and all the
Mm-hmm.
rest of it. I did all kinds of anything because I really wanted to develop myself. I saw where I wanted to go to, where I wanted to be, and I needed to have those training, those support, those counseling, therapy, even private talks with people and everything to understand my gifts and my talents and what I needed to do to get to where I needed to be. So it really requires, it behooves you, the
Mm-hmm.
person, to actually take those steps.
Yeah.
You need to take those steps. You need to want to come out from there. Before, I thought shyness was a good thing.
Yeah.
Then I was being taken for granted. I have friends who abused that part of me and
Mm.
would bring me down, talk me down,
In
and
Africa,
use me. Yeah.
they think if a child does not talk,
Mm,
if they cannot talk, they are shy and they are
yeah.
always the one hiding. That is a good
Hmm.
thing. They are well
Yeah. Yeah.
behaved.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
No, and one such scriptures again was the one that says, as a man thinks, so is
Thinkers,
he."
yeah.
So
So is he. Mm.
and I thought, okay, this is not what God wants for me. And again, fear has torment. So that means I'm being tormented. So many scriptures. I can just give you hundreds and hundreds of them. I wrote scriptures all over my wall. Those small cards. I have loads of. I still have them somewhere. I would every day I'll bring them out. I would just recite them to myself. Recite them to myself. I will have things written all over the mirror, in my room, in the bathroom, everywhere. In some books, sometimes I would think about things. I'll just put it in my notes and everything when I was in school. Just really constantly reciting those scriptures. Sometimes people call me the walking Bible. That's because I made an effort. I wanted to change my landscape, my thought life, the way I saw myself. And the more I became aware of God's thoughts about me and what I needed to do to be confident, to be that person who can stand, for herself,
Yeah.
people began to call me arrogant. That's
Hmm.
my family, really, not really people, but my family. Because now I'm no longer that girl who was timid.
Yeah. So they
So
liked it when
they
when you
liked
couldn't
it
talk.
when I would
When
say,
they were pushing you around, they liked it.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely, absolutely. So I wouldn't say a confident person. I would just say I'm someone who is aware of who she is and will stand the ground now. And I would hold my corner. I would not say very much, but I'll still present myself. So it's taken a very, very long time,
Mm-hmm.
but um, I'm
You're
nearly
getting
there.
there. Yeah.
I'm getting
I
there.
think you are
And
confident, Gigi. You are confident.
that's
You
what
are
they
the one
say.
talking now
I
on a
know.
live show.
Never, ever say
You
that.
are talking
Never.
now, and I no, you are confident. No, you are. You are definitely confident. Yeah, maybe you were
Yeah,
not
I
proud
just,
to now,
yeah.
but after all the work you've done on yourself, you are definitely
Mm,
confident now.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's a good thing. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong in being confident. There's absolutely nothing wrong in it. Okay. It's being cocky that is not good.
Mm,
Uh-huh. But knowing who you are, I mean, seeing yourself for who you are, being able to stand up for yourself, I
mm,
mean, that's all we all want to be. Anything less than that, then there's some issues that the person needs to
mhm.
work on.
Yeah. When I was in school, when I was in primary school in Lagos, in Nigeria, when you're called upon to read, maybe we're reading a book or something, and then the teacher will call you to read a paragraph or something. I could not do that. I could not, I would really pee on myself when I'm called upon, when it's my turn to read. And and it was very difficult. And I remember when I was in secondary school, this is just amazing. I just don't understand the irony of it. This is God for you. And then, but I was the prefect in school, I was the
Hmm.
head girl in school,
Yeah,
I represented my school in debates, I
yeah, because
represented my school in,
because of your intelligence.
so but
You were intelligent, but you didn't match your the way
match
you see
the
yourself.
personality.
Personality, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember I would actually I won a writing competition in the whole of Lagos, and I don't understand it. And then the first time I represented my school in a debate, the whole of it was like a Lagos thing, Lagos school thing. Because of I was the head girl, I was called upon to represent my school. As I stood in front of the hall, and I saw many eyes on me. Do you know what? They literally carried me out of that place because I could not open my mouth to
You
talk.
froze.
I froze. I froze.
Yeah, that will happen. That will, even for, I
So
mean,
I
for
mean,
people
I
that
can
are
talk about
confident.
it now, but
Yeah.
but
Even for
we
people that are
talked
confident, to
about
be
it.
fair, Gigi, public speaking is not for everybody. Even for confident people. Yeah. It takes a lot of courage to stand before people and speak.
Yeah,
You have nerves, you're shaking, you're looking at them, you're wondering, but
yeah,
it takes practice. But with time, you get
mm,
used to it.
yeah,
Thank you so much, sis, for sharing.
yeah.
And yeah, if it worked for you, definitely you did it
It
work
can
and it
work for
worked for you.
anybody.
It can work for
Anybody.
anybody.
If I
Yeah.
can do it, anyone. It doesn't matter what you've gone through in life. It's not an overnight relearning. It's step by step, small by
Hmm.
small, but you will get there.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing,
Thank
sis.
you. Love you
Appreciate
lots.
you. Love you lots.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Speak to you
Talk
soon.
to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Gigi is definitely confident. What's she talking about? She is confident. Okay, Ekami, you're welcome.
Thank you, Sister B. How are you?
I'm alright. Can you speak a bit louder, please?
Yes. Uh, this is self-esteem problems. I think begin mostly from home, from the parents. I remember years ago when I finished, I graduated from university. I had a boyfriend. My cousin reported me to my dad, and my dad said a few things which made me cry, just because we were from different tribes. But the next 2 days later, my dad did something amazing. He came, when he said it, it was just myself and him. But when he came to apologize, he called my siblings and my mom and knelt before me to apologize.
Who
My,
knelt before you? Your
my
cousin.
no, my dad.
Your dad knelt before you.
Yes,
Was he the one that said something that hurt you?
yes.
I
And
see.
he apologized to me that he shouldn't have said that. And that to me, till this day, is one of the greatest things about my dad. And so, from the time my kids were little, they're in their early 20s now, I told them to hold me accountable for anything that I'm doing that they think, if I do something to your brother or your sister you see is wrong, call me, let me know. And when I say something to my kids or do something without knowing the full story, I go to them and apologize. It's not something like I do every day, but whenever I know I am wrong, because children are human beings too. It's
Yeah.
the things we speak into our children that they hear from us every day that make them or break them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
When you build your child up in the house, you compliment them. It doesn't matter what other people say to them outside.
Mm-hmm.
My girls now, when they go out, somebody compliment them. They will go like, "Yeah, I know, I'm my mother's child."
I like that. My mother told me. My
they,
mother
you
told me.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So they are so my kids, and sometimes my friends say, "Oh, your kids are so they're so full of themselves." I say yes because they know who they are,
Yeah,
not
you
just
see,
who they
I
are
don't
as
like
my
when
kids.
African adults, when they say that, it pisses me off. I don't like that
Yes.
because you rather that they are timid and
Right.
they lack confidence. Now that they are confident, you see it as being full of themselves.
Right.
Why do they do that? Why do
I
adults
don't
do
know.
that? Always trying to put children down. At me, I can remove my cloth. And I don't. I'm a very peaceful person, but when it comes to children, I will fight too. Honestly, I will.
Exactly.
No, I can't stand it.
Exactly. That's what I do with my kids. So it's really important because it doesn't matter how how they're treated outside. Mom and dad are they're the safe haven that these kids run to.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say. And it was because of this kind of relationship with my dad that made it easier for me to have a relationship with God. That I feel like if my heavenly Father feels like this about me, loves me this way, and I found that I have a heavenly Father that loves me more than He does. Oh yeah, I'm all that and a whole bag of chips.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all that bag of chips. You're welcome,
Thank
Ekami.
you so much.
Thank you, my darling. Thanks for joining us. We got Nick Deji. Nick Deji, you're welcome, sweetie. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks.
Yeah, so I wanted to say thank you so much for all that you're doing, all that you continue to share with us. I appreciate everyone that always comes online and share their stories. It's a blessing, and they don't understand how much they're helping other people when other people hear what they have gone through. Because I think people need to remember they're not alone. So, every point you've made and other people have made, I definitely co-sign with it. But I also wanted to let people know that, they shouldn't be afraid to stand out. God did not make us to be duplicates, meaning that we are not supposed to be the same. We are each uniquely and wonderfully made. And God made us the way He made us because there's something special in us that has to stand out. And people shouldn't be afraid to stand out. Whether you're shy, you're timid, you're aggressive, it doesn't matter. We can always be good. We can always strive to be better, and we can always be the best. So being different does not mean it's a bad thing. It means you're meant to stand out. The other thing I wanted to say is that, you know, people that unfortunately don't love themselves a lot of times, like for all the things you listed, but it's also because of whatever trauma they have gone through, right? And unfortunately, we can't pick and choose our families. We can't pick and choose the people that God says we must encounter in our lives. But we always have to remember we are children of the Most High God. We are descendants of a royal priesthood. So when you know you're a descendant of royalty, you are princes and princess of this world. You have a crown. You have to remember there's a crown on your head, whether people see it or not. And when you love yourself big, meaning you love yourself so much, whether even if you're faking it, fake that you love yourself so much. Because I also believe in manifestation. What you manifest, what you say to yourself will also manifest. So if you love yourself big, nobody can now come and love you less than that. You have to appreciate and have value for yourself. I remember growing up, like one of the other ladies said, my father, God bless my parents, my father used to always, I'm the only girl, the oldest, and I have four siblings. And my father used to always call us bastard or eronko, goat, animal, whatever. And, I'm a first generation American. I came here when I was 2. So at first I didn't understand what is this eronko, eronko. He's always calling us. We didn't get it. We just be like, okay, he's annoyed. And then when I gotten older and I understood the meaning of bastard and all this, I was just like, as a child, you don't feel like you're empowered to speak up. But it got into a point that one day he said it to me when I was about to start my university. And I just looked at him and I confronted him. I said, wait, wait, wait. This word you're using for me, when you're using it, do you think you're insulting me? You're not insulting me, you're insulting my mother. So what exactly are you saying?
He's actually insulting himself. If he
He's,
says you're
yeah,
Aranko,
not
you
only
beget
Erico, but also Bastard. The Bastard one
yeah,
was the
you
one that made me confront him. And,
mm,
and I say all that to say I confronted him. And me, I'm a fighter. I confronted him and he had nothing to rebut with, right? He had nothing to say. And for a while, when he felt like he didn't have to, because Nigerians, especially the men, they don't like to apologize. So when he said that, and I said, okay, if you're not my father, I agree, you're not my father. Show me who is my father, because you've
mhm.
been doing a horrible job. You have been doing a horrible job. After all, you're not my father. So you're not my father. And for weeks, I didn't talk to him. I didn't greet him. I didn't say anything to him. Even my mother noticed it. And I'm very close to my dad. And one day she was like, why are you not talking to your father? I said, she's out back. I said, see, he's telling you that I don't belong to him. So, mommy, please tell me where's my father so I can go and acknowledge him. But, after a month, he had to do an internal check of himself. And he realized that what he was doing and saying was wrong. And he actually called me and said, at times we do some things that we don't really understand. And in his own way, he apologized. But since that day, when I confronted him, he's never used those words for me and my siblings again. And I think sometimes people, when they don't know better, right? When you know better, you do better. But sometimes, if this is the environment they grew up in, they may not see anything wrong in what they're doing. And I feel that, part of progressing in life is growth. You can learn, even in your old age, to be better, to do better. And, some of the things that they used to fault me for, growing up in my household, and you would think I was the black sheep of the family. My mom would do a lot of comparison. Why can't you be like so and so? Why look at so and so's daughter, Kinoko, Kinoko? And I'd be like, and the one you're comparing to me to, you don't know they're stripping at the strip club on the corner. But thank you. Now I know that's what you want me to do. They'd be like, because I'm like, so you're not happy with what God has blessed you with? I will confront them. And it's not, I don't want anyone to think that is out of being disrespectful, but I'm confronting it head on. Like, what exactly are you saying? And I would
Yeah.
tell them, look, what
And I
God
want
has
to
blessed you
assume
with.
that you are grown now. This time you're confronting your dad.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like going to university, but when they were comparing me, that was during my teenage years. Because
Mm-hmm.
we children, we know the secrets of one another, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know who's selling drugs. We know who's out here running with gangs. We know who's out here prostituting themselves. Our parents don't know. They just see the surface picture. So when they used to compare me to some people, I'm like, you don't even know what this person is actually doing. And when
Is,
we
isn't
now
it?
tell,
Isn't it? Sorry, Nick Deji. Isn't it funny how African parents always like to compare their children,
yeah,
but they
my
never
mom would
compare themselves to other
exactly.
parents? They say your mates are doing this. You uncle, you don't know where your mate is. You that is
I
my
actually
papa that is
when
saying
I
your mates are doing this. Because
exactly
there were people that your mates too that are better than you. Where were you when they were doing what they were doing?
Abby,
Is it
and I
only
and I
children you
would
know how
just
to compare? Your mates are doing this.
and
Your
I
mates
will
are
go
doing
back
this.
and quote Bible where I'll be like, so you're not content. Oh yeah, go and come. I would tell my mother, this is why they would say my mouth, my mouth. My mouth always just give me. I said, go back and complain to God. Please. If you say I'm not enough, it's okay. I will be enough for somebody. And they would just look at me, suck their teeth, and go about their business. And that's why I say God in our house is almost like a comedy show. But sometimes people don't know how to be better. And but by me confronting them, or even you asking the question or posing the question, I don't think it's being rude or being disrespectful. And at the end of the day, all the people they used to compare me to, now whenever my parents talk about their children, I'm the first one they're so proud of. I'm the one that I don't know why they even doubt my trajectory in life. Maybe because it didn't mirror what they went through. But now I'm the
Mm.
first one they will brag. Do she has gotten this? Do you know she has bought her? Do you know this?
That's still comparing. They are still comparing you to another person, so they haven't learned.
No, no, not comparing. They're proud of my achievements, and
Mm.
they're even announcing my achievements to people that I have not even announced to. So I will
Mm.
hear from uncles and aunties, oh, congratulations. I'm like, for what? Oh, your daddy said you collected your kiniko. Your daddy said, and I'm like, when you used to compare, now you're the one bragging. So, in their own way, sometimes as parents, we're all trying our best, but sometimes we miss the mark. And I have my children. I try my best for my children. I'm sure if you talk to my daughter, she would think I could have done it a different way. But, it's
Mm.
only the grace of God that is helping all of us.
Yeah,
But I just want to
absolutely.
remind people they definitely need to love themselves. Just know you are valuable.
Yeah.
Whether your mother values you, your father values you, it doesn't matter. There was one time I was in a situation where, somebody put their hands on me. I called the police. I called the police. The person was, asked to leave, whatever. And remember, my parents were saying, you shouldn't have done that. And I said, look. Maybe you don't value me. Maybe you don't value me. But me, I love myself. And nobody
Mm.
can come and touch what is precious, which is my life, or touch me for the sake of what would people say. I don't give a damn what would people say. Because me, I love myself. If you don't love me, God
Very
loves me.
important. Yes, so
Yeah.
you have
And
to
I
love
said, God, if you
yourself.
don't love me, God loves me.
God
So
loves
if you
me.
like,
Yeah.
so, don't, even if it's your own parents, even if it's, forget what society says, forget what culture says. If you value yourself, nobody else can come to devalue you. So make sure
Yeah.
you stand up for yourself. And
Yeah.
we all go through trauma. And I really like what the previous caller said. Whatever areas, we all have our weaknesses, we can still develop them into strength. So if you know that
Absolutely.
you can't say no, there are classes for that. If you know that you don't know how to speak up and talk, there are classes for that. If let's say you fight too much, there are classes to tell you
Anger
how to
management.
anger management, or how to
Mm,
pick and choose your battles. And especially
mm.
in the diaspora, we have so many options available, but Google is your friend. I know we say
Yeah.
that as a joke, but it's your friend. So many things
Absolutely.
available that can
Thank
help
you.
you. you know
Thanks a
Thank
lot,
you.
Nideji, for your
Thank you.
input. Yeah. Value yourself. Oh, add tax to it. Yeah. Value yourself and put some tax on top. Someone came here and told us that once upon a time. Value yourself. Know that you are enough. Mm? You are too much. You are good. You are fearfully and wonderfully created by God. You have everything you need to live, to achieve anything you want. You have the ability. God has given you strength. He's giving you the intellect. He's giving you the resources. He's giving you the mindset. He's giving you everything you need. You just need to tap into it. Yeah. Know who you are, and please do not ever think less of yourself. Self-esteem is everything. Nobody will value you more than you value yourself. You need to value yourself, my people. Value yourself, absolutely important. Adewale, I've got you.
Good evening, TV. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you,
Uh,
sweetie?
I'm fine. I'm fine. How are you doing?
Not too bad. You're welcome.
Yeah. So when you talked about the stories of the lady, like at the beginning of your show, I could really relate to a lot because I'm also the first child of my family, and I grew up fearing my dad, and I think it's because of the way my dad was brought up. My dad was born into a polygamous family where his father, my late grandfather, didn't really believe in higher education. So my dad wanted to go to the university and go for masters and all that, but my grandfather never believed in all these things, and can't really blame him because he also had a lot of children, so he didn't really have time for all of them. That's one of the disadvantages of having like a huge polygamous family. You never really have time for each of your children. So when I was born, I'm the first child. So when I was born, my father just thought like education was the only thing he could give to me. I mean, the other aspects of raising the child, he didn't really put effort into it or didn't really care about it. He just thought it was only education. I have this vivid memory of when I was in like, I think, nursery 2 or nursery 3, like really young in primary school back in Nigeria. I came home and my home class teacher told my dad I had difficulties reciting the English alphabet, the letters of the English alphabet. So I came home that day. I realized my dad was really, really, really angry. And uh, the moment I dropped my bag, he called me into the sitting room, and then he started asking me to recite the letters of the English alphabet. And I got stuck at the particular part and I couldn't do it. He got really angry. And then after some point, he just started hitting me and hitting me. Then he told me to go kneel down. And I think I was about 4 or 5 at the time. I can't really remember. I just remember kneeling there and carrying this. There was back in the day, like, this company used to make these huge speakers. So I was really, really young and I was holding the speaker and he was hitting me and asking me to recite it. I can't really forget that memory. It's like it's stuck in my brain. That was the day I started fearing my father. I think that was the day I started losing my self-esteem, because after that day, I just realized that all I could do to please my dad was, I have to get good grades in the school. So the fear I had of my dad became the fuel that was pushing me to achieve things, do well in school, get this grade, get this prize and all that. And you know, I I'll be in class and teachers would start teaching. I'd have questions I wouldn't be able to ask. I don't know why. I just had this fear. I had a lot of things to say in class, but I just couldn't say it because I was
Your
afraid. I didn't
confidence
know.
was gone.
It was gone. It was gone. My
Mm-hmm.
self-esteem was, everything was gone. I couldn't really
Mm-hmm.
make friends. And you know, and then COVID-19 happened last year, and the lockdown, everything just heightened all my problems, and I fell into this huge depression. I I Before then I didn't really, I wouldn't say I didn't believe in depression. I didn't know, I just hear about it, but I've never experienced it. But this, it really happened to me, and then I couldn't even tell my parents that I had this problem. I was just I was just going through life. I had given up, everything. I had just given up on my life and everything. I mean, I had a lot of things I wanted, goals I wanted to achieve, but just felt like I forgot. It felt like that drive I had was gone. And then when I started going for therapy, usually the therapists always trace their patients back to their childhood. They always do it all the time. They started asking me how I grew up, and then the therapist said this thing. He said that that the drive I had actually came from the fear of my father. But
Hmm.
now that I'm an adult, I can't really. I'm an adult now. I don't really fear my father as much. So I'm looking for that drive in other things. And since I'm an adult now, I need to start making decisions for myself. I need to find that drive myself somewhere. I
Mm-hmm.
need to get it. But since I no longer fear my father, I have to get that drive. That's the only way I could build my self esteem. So the summary of all the story I'm telling you is whatever bad words you're telling your children, whatever you do to your children that harms them, and
Mm-hmm.
it makes them lose their self esteem, makes them
Mm-hmm.
lose
I
confidence.
mean, Adewale, your dad could have just helped you to study the alphabet instead of all that whooping. All that
You know,
whooping.
he
He could have just helped you.
he believed that was the way he could help. He believed that's the only way he could help. Like he'd help. He was like, I'm the first child. I have a lot of responsibilities. Also, this thing African parents do, they put a lot of like weight and responsibility on the first child. So they think that they have to discipline the first child so well that so that the first child doesn't go astray, so that the younger ones would have a good example. But they always fail to realize that first child is just a child. It's not an adult. So you have this in a lot of African homes. Even still happen to this day. The first child is just seen as, a ticket to success for the younger ones. So you find parents, mothers or fathers, they discipline the child so well. I won't call it discipline, that punish the child so much
Mm-hmm.
that that child lose their self-esteem. You find the younger ones, they're able to speak out. My younger ones are able to speak out, talk, say different things. But I was just different because of the things I had experienced growing up. So, for all the parents out here, although your first child has some responsibilities, but you shouldn't place the responsibility of an adult on your first child. They're not. That's not what they're brought to the world for. They're not only there to look after their siblings. They also have their own dreams. You need to build their own self-esteem. You don't do that by saying bad words to them or punishing them or doing all this weird things in the African community we call discipline. It's not. It just makes the child lose who they are. It makes them, what's the word I want to use? It
Mm.
doesn't make them outspoken. It makes them lose who they really are. They can't talk. They can't speak. They're just there, and people then say they're shy. It's good to be shy, but it's not just that they're shy. It's just that they've lost that drive they had. So please and please and please, to all the parents in this platform, your first, like the first child is not. It's not an adult you brought into the world. It's also a child. So you also need to raise that child well. Teach,
Mm.
like, say good things, say nice things to them. Don't punish them so much and just make them lose their self-esteem and confidence. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you, and
Thank
to
you
be on the
very
platform.
much. Yeah. Thanks, Adewale. It's a shame that a lot of African parents did put their frustration. A lot of them were they were just they failed. Let me put that word. I'm not even ashamed to say it or afraid. Some of them failed in their life. And as a result, all their frustration was on their children. Children are innocent. They didn't ask to be born. That's why you shouldn't even bring into this children into this world when you know that you're already a failure anyway. What do you have to bring children into this world for? All you're going to do is to put your frustration and anger on them. Adults who have failed in their life become very bitter. They become so disgruntled. All they see is negativity. When they enter the house, it's like thunder has entered. My goodness. These parents, they ought to be ashamed of themselves. Honestly, I can't stand anybody that maltreat children. I just cannot stand them. I don't have any pity for them. Because the impact is a lifetime. The children carry it on forever. It's not fair. Good, you're welcome, my darling.
Hi, Auntie B. Can you
Hi.
hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, you've said so many things that I would like to say, but I'll just chip in some few things. Um Growing up, African parents was what I had too. Like any small thing, Cain, they will say spare the rod, spoil the child. At some point I started hating my father. And my mother will be the one to put fire, like will put that talk, those talks that will make his head to spin the more. If he was to give you six strokes of cane, that six can turn to countless numbers. Like it can go all the way from 1824. My dad will beat me. I will have so many marks on my legs, on my body, like somebody that has gone to steal. What did he beat me for? We grew up. He was trying to instill, okay, I'm a girl. Growing up, my friends, they wear earring, they make their ears, right? But me, we are not allowed to plait our hair. Maybe the kind of school I go to, we are not allowed to make our hair. Then the kind of church we go to, we are not allowed to wear earring. But I'm a girl, but I look like a tomboy. So, and I know I look like a boy. So when I bought a very small earring, all this the smallest earring that they give to newborn baby. One of our church members saw me wearing earring at school. He went to tell my dad, bro, mo rí ọmọ yín lénìí. Bro, ọmọ yín aṣẹ́wó ni. Your daughter is a slut. Hey, what did she do? She was putting on earring. Very small earring for a newborn baby, oh, Sister Bean. When I got home, my daddy beat me like I stole, like I went to steal, like I steal somebody, like
That's
I
what
went
the
to
Bible
steal
teaches
meat.
teaches him in the church that he goes to, where they don't wear a ring. The,
They
the
say, yeah,
Bible told him to brutalize his own child.
if you
That's
see,
why
I
they read
think
the Bible upside down.
no,
Religious
it's
fanatics that
not
are
as evil. It's not
wicked.
eventually, some pastors, they will mislead their congregation, and at the end of the day, they will start apologizing. Is what we knew that time. This said pastor came back to apologize on air that this and this is sorry, because now that there is computer
His
everywhere,
pastor
he
that
told
told
me.
him to be beating the children.
I said at some point, my daddy sold our television because the church says no television too.
Yeah, but
I
the
know
church
you will
didn't
know.
say he should beat. The church put the doctrine, but they didn't
Ah,
say you should be beating your children.
the church will say spare the child, spare the rod and spoil the child. Now, what spare the rod? That means you have to use your cane. And
Mm.
my mom used to be a teacher. We have different type of cane that students will bring to school. They will say submit cane date. They will come home. My mom can come home with like 40 different types of cane. And
Hmm.
those canes are for if you misbehave, like putting on earrings or little things that you can just talk to your child and. So I grew up to not to like him anyway. That's just it. I grew up not to like him, but I mean, no matter no matter how those days, we all know that fine education is just the best way to take yourself out of poverty. So I knew just go to school and learn your. So I mean, that did not disturb me education wise, but I grew up not to like him. Then I grew up to know that it's my mom that will still put fire. So, I mean, all they did was not to say negative things like I mean, there was a day I was going to school early in the morning and I saw a woman Mama Risi that was selling rice, placing curse on her child, like it shall never be well with you, and she's the one that gave birth to that child. So in my mind, I'm like, Ken is still better than this
No
kind of.
one of them is good. There's no one that is good.
I mean, yeah, of course, that time I mean, you will still have to like, I mean, none. I mean, there is both are bad, right? But at least one is still like temporary and one is permanent. Cause a woman that bears a child and you are cursing your child, saying negative things, you know. So I mean, I thank God by myself. I just grew out of that hatred, you know. I just forgave him because I later grew up to know that is what he I mean it's what they told him in church. That was what he was trying to instill on us, you know. So I mean, it didn't work for me because if you see me in university days, Auntie B, you will not say I grew up for I'm a deeper life girl. If you see me in university, that day he came to university and I was putting on trousers. I'm like, yeah, what do you want to do? I'm in university already. Go do your worst. And when he did his worst, I came home during my year one. You know what he did? He beat me because I was wearing trousers. I'm not coming home again. Auntie B, for 2 years I did not come home. This man started looking for me in the school. In short, it was terrible. But I just thank God that that kind of life did not make me like go astray, stray. You understand? I still had to find my way back to the to you know back to the right path, knowing that fine, it's not good to beat a child like they did. I mean, it's
Good. Your internet.
right now I mean it's not that I don't beat them at all, but maybe like one I do more of the talking, because even here you can't beat, because if you beat and the in short you don't want a social worker to come for your kids, you understand, so you have to obey how they train their children. Yeah, so I do more of talking.
Oyibo don't beat their children, but
They
they still
don't.
turn out well. How come they turn out
Yeah,
well? The African children
they
that
do
they
more
beat,
of
they end up
talking.
being traumatized and they become very angry adults.
Exactly,
This is where they
exactly,
have all this behavior from because of the abuse they suffered in the hands of their
exactly.
parents. Oyibo that don't beat, that don't swear, one will shake pay. They are
At
not doing a
all.
pay. How
At
come? Look
all.
at their country, how it is.
I'm
Them that
telling
say that know
you.
how to raise, they sparing the rod and spoiling the child. Look at how their
Spelling.
continent is
I mean, even it's
messed
the
up.
religion now. It's the religion. So
I
sometimes
beg.
religion in Nigeria can be so devastating and can so mess some family up. So that's just my experience. But I mean, I mean, I grew up to know I should just say positive things to my children and to talk more, because me to my children they attend school that they are the only black poem two or one or two of them are the only black people in that class. And I used to tell myself, if these people can listen to their parents just by words, mine too will listen to me by talking to them. So I do more of talking, and I pray on them early in the morning. I say I decree and declare positive things upon their life. You understand? And I remind them when I'm to drop them off in school. I tell them, behave yourself, listen to your teacher, pay attention in class. You understand? And I tell them, you see, I'm going to school right now. I'm reading, I'm in class. It's because I want to be a better person. It's because I want to have a better life, a good life. That's why I'm in school. So if you
Thank
want to
you,
have a
good.
good life, face your studies
You
and
use your words. Yeah,
yeah,
thank you.
words.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, my dear.
Yeah.
Have a good evening, sweetie. Right, so we are gonna end shortly now. I think I should be, cutting the. I should have been cutting. A lot of people were speaking for too long. I should have been cutting it at 3 minutes. Now it will not give the other people enough time to speak. D, you're welcome.
Hi, Auntie B. You bring me when you're always ready to round up.
Really? Because why do you always come when we are ready to hand up, D?
I just
Eh?
joined now, but I have to follow the queue. There's no way to jump the queue.
Okay, you didn't start. You were not here when we started.
No, I was napping. I came home. I had a hard day to that work, so I just came home. I was just sleeping.
Okay, I will give you your time. Don't worry.
Uh,
Because I don't know. It's such a coincidence, that is only
I know it's okay,
every time.
but
I'm not saying it's a coincidence. Trust me.
it's okay.
Mm.
It's okay. I know you're not doing it on purpose.
It's not on purpose.
Um,
No.
I think
Mm.
it's such a good topic you are talking about today. I want to say something to people who have had those difficult childhood, because I've had my own. People have shared their own. I don't want to share my own stories. My own, it was even my sister adding on. One day she slapped me so much that my face swelled up. So when I went to school, they were like, "What happened to you?" And I lied that a bee has stung me, and my face was just has just swollen up. It was so bad. But one thing I want to tell people is that sometimes when you're a child and you grow and you become an adult, you think that the reason why you have all the virtues or the positive qualities or the qualities you have is because of the trauma you went through, right? You think, well, if my parents were not that strict or if my parents were not like this, I wouldn't have turned out that way. But actually, you are looking at it the other way around because the reason why you were able to withstand it is because of your resilience. It's not the abuse that made you into who you are. It is the quality that were already there that made you be able to withstand the
Who
abuse.
abuse help? I never see anything good come out of abuse
Yes, but
before.
sometimes people use that to say, well, if I hadn't done this, you wouldn't have turned out that way. Do you understand?
I
If I
think they are
hadn't,
just saying that to justify, to forgive, to let them live with their parents or abuser, whatever. They just say that. They don't actually believe that in their hearts.
yeah. But the only reason I'm saying that is because even me, when I was going through my healing journey, I did believe that. I thought that, well, it's not that bad because if that didn't happen, maybe you wouldn't have turned out that way. So when I came to a point that I had to, change that mindset to say that no, actually, you were able to withstand it because of your resilience, not because the abuse didn't turn you into anything. And I think it's very important for the people to know it's okay to be angry about what has happened to you. It's okay to seek help, but also it's not your responsibility to parent your parents.
Hmm.
It's becoming a thing now that when
I
you
like
grow,
that.
yeah, when
I
you
like
grow,
that. It's not your
when
responsibility to parent your parents.
yes, because the thing is, when you become an adult, your parents are now going into like older years, and sometimes they start looking back in their life and they realize that, oh, I now want the relationship with you that
To work.
I should
Yeah.
have culture. It's almost like
Mm.
you're trying to pluck a fruit from a tree, but you haven't planted the seed.
Because now they are afraid of their old age. What's going to happen if you turn your
Absolutely.
back on them?
Absolutely. So that's the thing. So now they want to come back to you, but a lot of the time when they come back to you for that relationship, you have already healed through what has happened. So you are going to re-traumatize yourself by reparenting your parents. That's why therapy exists, because it's a way for people to independently get the help they need without bleeding on other people. Because when you go to therapy, it's a very difficult process. You have to relieve some of your trauma. It's quite difficult. So if your parents come to a time that they are now, older, they think something else, but they want a better relationship with you and they haven't gone through the healing, sometimes they don't understand even what part of the behavior is unhealthy. So you don't have that mindset now, because the mistake we make, some of us, is like we become adult. Some of us may say, okay, we're going to go marry and have children. Then your parents want to come in and you're
And
trying to
become grandparents
yes, so
and repeat the same process with your
absolutely. So
children.
now the grace that you have to be able to parent your children, you now you splitting it in half. Some of it you're giving to your children, some of it you're giving to your parents, and now you're going to repeat that cycle, because now
Let
your children are going to be neglected because you are misusing the funds. You know how you say back home that we're doing corruption? Know that you can do emotional corruption, where you have removed the emotional energy you should give to your children to give to your parents or to
Let me
give to your
ask you this,
yeah.
D. Why do you think that some adults, you become
Mhm,
an adult now, and your
mhm,
parents, like a lot of people have shared here, how heavy-handed their parents were? They were cruel to them. They
mhm,
treated them like they were slaves.
mhm.
Why do you think it's so difficult for them to confront their parents?
I think it's because at the heart of every child's heart, right? Okay, it's it can be counter-natural to hurt your parent. And one of the things when you've been abused or traumatized is that because you have felt that pain, okay, you don't want someone else to feel that pain, even sometimes when it's your abuser, because there's a part of humanity that's like, I can't do that to another human being, right? So it becomes, because sometimes you can try to confront your parent, okay, but your parent is not even making it worse because they won't even accept accountability, and that can
Mhm.
actually add to your trauma, because you now become even worse than you were before, because you think, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Do you
Yeah,
understand
but
what
if
I'm
you don't confront them, I don't know. How do people move on from things like that? Because I'm the sort of person that, I mean, I didn't have cruel parents. My mom is not extraordinary beating. She beat me, but it
saying?
wasn't that bad, bad, bad. It was the
Mhm,
normal one that everybody received in Nigeria growing up at that time. But I don't understand how you can have a closure or how you can heal without. I am a very confrontational person. I
So
like to confront people. If
so
you
and
do something to me, I will confront you.
and to
So
me,
I don't know, how can you move on without actually making them even acknowledge
no,
or
but the thing
making
is
them
this.
see
y-
the harm that they
The
caused
thing
in
is
your
this.
life?
You can get stuck if you keep being focused on having to confront your parents, because when you are going to confront your parents, a lot of the time the outcome you're looking for is them accepting they've done something wrong. So if you keep saying that in order for me to go past the fact that I've been neglected, I need for them to agree, you will delay your healing. Because what if that never happens? Are you going to keep postponing your adult life, waiting for somebody to say they've done something wrong to you?
Then
And
I
that's
don't
why,
want them in my life. I'm going to
but,
cut
but
them off.
I know, but what I'm saying is that's what I'm saying, that you don't need to confront the people, because sometimes if you go and you confront them, that's why I'm saying to heal, you don't need closure. Your closure doesn't have to be the person accepting that they've done you wrong. The closure has to be you accepting something has been done wrong to you,
What
and
about
leaving.
forgiveness?
No, but you can't forgive. The thing is, you can have one without the other, okay? I don't need the other person to say they are sorry for me to forgive them. Forgiveness is me taking that load and saying this load is no longer mine and setting it aside and moving on. Forgiving doesn't mean I'm accepting your actions and saying it's my fault. It's putting responsibility back onto the person. That doesn't have to be verbal. It can just be mentally, because a lot of the abuse happens mentally first.
Yeah.
Even the physical abuse is how you've internalized it, in how you've internalized it, that makes it painful. That's why when you physically leave the person, you still are going through the abuse in your mind, because
Mm-hmm.
their mind, the abuse is mostly mental. So that's
Yeah.
why when mentally you have put that aside, that listen, what has happened to me was not my fault, you no longer need closure from them, because you already set it aside. You already said, this is nothing to do with me, this is to do with them, and you can move on. And you can realize it, because abuse people, okay, when you've been abused, and I want to give this hope to people who've been abused or neglected, you have more power to heal than you think. Your abuser actually, it's harder for them to heal than it is for you. Why? Because your abuser way of thinking sometimes was that I'm doing something for your good. I'm doing something right. And sometimes they can think you cannot live without me. So when you heal and you start forgiving them, and you've put boundaries, and you say, I'm not going to talk to you anymore because I feel like you're unhealthy, or I may be polite with you, I'll tell you happy birthday and all these things, they now have to start questioning their own minds, that how is this person supposed to live without me? How are they managing to live without me? How are they thriving? How are they doing? They now start questioning themselves. And that is the beginning of their own healing process, which has nothing to do with you. So I'm trying to talk to the people here who've been neglected or abused. You don't need the other person to acknowledge they've abused you. You don't need it.
Mm.
And in order for you to fully heal, you need to be able to put boundaries with your abuser, because there's something in your mind. I'm going to say this and end, because you say we're around you, right? There's something in your mind that thinks that you cannot live without your abuser. That, having them, or your parents, or the way they're talking to you, or the fact that they're quite nasty to you, because you keep thinking, I can't, because I'm quite a sensitive person, and sometimes back home, the way we're raised was quite rough. Do you understand what I'm saying? Was quite
Mm.
rough sometimes. People calling you name. I mean, some of the callers have said it. I mean, one day, I mean, my mom came home and I wasn't home, and she called me a prostitute. I mean, the whole thing never left my mind. I was like, it was quite painful to me. So part of the thing when you've had those words, those nasty words said to you, is that you start thinking, you start accepting things, and you start thinking, maybe I can't live without that person, especially when it comes from a parent. It's like, I need my parents. I need my parents. I need my parents. I cannot survive without them. That's where your the mental hold is. Once you let that go and say, I need to see whether I can survive without them, I need to see whether I can just love them afar and leave, your healing truly blossoms, because you start realize, especially if you're Christian, because some of us
Mm.
Christian, we've been
Mm.
told this thing of
Mm.
honoring your parent means
Honor your father and your
accept
mother.
everything they do,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
you start thinking, maybe the blessing I'm having in my life is still because I'm letting it slide. Okay. Maybe when I start putting a boundary between me and my parents, my blessings are going to stop. You need to make that step. You will never know who God is truly until you put him on on trial as it is, until you challenge some of the mental images you have of him. So once I did that, and I was like, okay, I need to put a boundary, and I realized that my life is continuing. I'm still blossoming. I'm like, oh, maybe that was a lie. The lie can only be counteracted with the truth. You cannot, and the truth can only be acted. You cannot just do this mentally. You have to act it out. You have to start cutting people off. You have to start putting money, and it's going to be painful. You shouldn't run away from pain. You have to understand there's a difference between a pain that was given to you, which is abuse, and the pain of growing up. It's like a woman who is pregnant. There's a difference between labor pain and the pain of you having cancer in your abdomen. Do you understand? So if you are giving birth, there's going to be a pain, but that pain of giving birth is not the same pain of you having cancer inside of you. So you need to make the difference. Pain isn't bad, depending on what the purpose of it is. So yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. It might be even slightly painful for you in the beginning to have that boundary, but know that that pain is about you being birthed. It's not about something else. So accept that pain of you being born, as in putting boundaries and all those things, because there's something amazing that's going to come to the other side. Okay.
Thank you very much,
All
D.
right. Thank you
Well
for
said. Yeah. Well
bye.
said. Bye, darling. Have a good evening. Thank you. So before I come to you, Mr. Nature, you are next. And yeah. And then I'll go to my kitchen cabinet. Somebody in the I pinned something here where Soul says, in addition to her answer, that's D's answer, the parents have a very strong overshadowing power on the abused kids, in that most people are still afraid of whoever abused them. Yeah, in that young lady's case, especially, I think she's still afraid because I was asking her, have you had this discussion with your mother? My she's watching this Obodoyibo TV. If you've not learned anything, you should learn that you should love. We preach love here all the time. There is love all over us because we are people of love. And the thing that pains me about these parents is that they are so pretentious. Honestly, they are so pretentious. You see them, you think they are perfect. Now then they carry Bible for head, they go church pass. You see them, you think they are holy. At home, you are traumatizing your kids. You are raising your children with such bitterness and hatred. See, I don't know. In fact, I don't know. I don't know. It's sad. It's really, really sad. Mr. Nature, you're welcome.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Where are you joining us from?
I'm joining from Italy.
Okay, what do you have to say, bro?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you. I've been following almost the three sections you had about the auntie yesterday. I was so touched. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah, that was
That's
powerful.
really
Thank you.
wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, that was a parent. So if parents could stand by their children, even in hard times like that, imagine if she has abused that child. Probably should have neglected that child to die and careless. But the point is what I want to say tonight is sometimes these issues, we should also forgive our parents. I actually was born by a military parent. My dad was a military,
Mm-hmm.
and it was tough.
Hmm.
But I had to forgive him because, these people, they were so drilled in the military then in the 80s that sometimes they take it on their kids, they take it on their family. He actually took it on my mom first. So
Mm-hmm.
my mom had to divorce, as in she ran away, not even divorce. We were very little. My mom said she couldn't stand. He comes back, bullying, words, everything was going on. She couldn't stand. She had to run for her life. Of which I told her, I'm happy you ran because probably today I would have known my mom. I told her it's not your fault. It's okay that you ran. It's okay. Though we suffer because we're just two. I am our twin brother. We're just 2 years when that incident happened.
So
So
your mom
growing
had
up,
to flee from all the domestic violence your dad was putting her through.
yeah, she had to. She ran to her family. She couldn't stand. And as African culture, the kids are going to be with the man.
So
So
she left you.
yeah, she had to. He's a military. He could do and undo. So she just had to run for her life. We're all four. I and my siblings were four, two boys, two girls. She just left us, and she couldn't be again. Now, my dad, we're younger, and he took it on us, especially my elder sister. My elder sister is so cold. I think
Who are they
self
called
esteem
towards now? Are they called towards
because
your dad or your mom?
no, she
Your
was so my
sisters?
elder sister as a person. She's so cold. Up to date, if you talk with
Who's
her,
she
she start
called?
crying.
So,
No, she's cold
what do you
generally in her life, in her person,
what do you mean she's
in her
cold? I don't
person, her
understand.
personality. Yeah, her
Mm,
self-esteem is so down that she
all
can't even
right.
stand an argument. She'll be crying.
Oh, she's fragile emotionally.
Yeah, she's so fragile. She's so even if she's telling she's explaining to you, she'll be tears in. That's only the way she can explain. So I understood she has been traumatized by my dad because my dad was a military. When he comes back, now she's the elder's daughter. He's gonna bounce on her. Where did you guys go to? You guys don't need to leave the house. You guys this, you guys that. Whatever it was, we're forgiving our dad because understanding that this military, the way they drew them, is so bad. It's so bad. And again, I want to say, if anyone is listening, sometimes the best way to pick on is not really a confrontation. It's just to forgive them. Some of them were ignorant. They don't have the education that is exposed to us today. They don't have
Some of them are
Obodo Ibo
wicked.
TV.
Some of them were
They don't have,
wicked.
but they don't have Obodo Ibo TV that is educating them also. So let's still look at it
I
from
don't
that
like making
aspect.
excuses for parents,
I
honestly. I
know,
just don't.
I understand your point. But the truth be told, that they weren't exposed as we are exposed today.
Wicked
Somebody said
parents.
that. Somebody said that
Now
on the comment
they want
section.
you to come and send them money. They want you to come and build house that they couldn't build for
Just
themselves.
can you
All the things
imagine?
they could not do with their miserable life. Now they want you to come and do it
Exactly,
for them.
exactly. That's the point. They damaged the upbringing, and you actually find your pace yourself, and now they want to eat the fruit from it. Do you understand?
Thank
So
God for
give it.
forgiveness. So if not that,
That's just the
there's
truth.
this thing that we need to forgive. Ha!
That's just the truth. I'm here to go and listen to watch your video about forgiveness. When I heard them talking about it the other day, I said I need to go and watch it because it must be something really packed, really full. So I
It
need to go
was.
and watch it.
It
Yeah.
was.
So, but
Mm.
concerning tonight, I just feel right now I'm a parent, I'm a young dad, and I think some of this wrong attitude from my dad still creeping inside of me. Sometimes I take it easy on my kids. I'll tell my wife, no, we just have to leave them, let them be themselves. It must not be all the time. We must, probably use the word punish them. It must be all the time. Just let them be. We will have to joke over things. They're kids. Why are we going to be so hard on them? So now I'm really trying to re-educate my wife, tell her to let us stand the ground like let not everything matter that this kid do. Anything they do, it shouldn't really matter that we want to take it like they've committed an offense. They're kids, so we should take them as kids, so that
Yes.
that way their self-esteem can really
Yeah.
come out.
Yeah.
Moreover, I keep telling my wife we're in a foreign land for our kids to really match up the citizen, the original citizen I call, we should be able to give them that self-esteem from their home. As parents, we should love them, not leaving the world to love them. That's where it's all messed up later. Like the story for tonight. The girl now, I believe she should leave her parents' house. If she's mature enough to go get a place, let her leave. Because one of the best things to get you said it in one of your notes, is go far from them. Go far from them. They will bring you down every time you're trying to build yourself again. They'll bring you down. So go far from them. So right now, I'm trying to also learn from this platform how to educate my own kids, how to love them. I'm trying my best. We're human. Sometimes, probably due to the stress of life, you just want to take it on the kids. I try to talk myself back to say, "Come on, it's not their fault. Come on, don't bounce on them like that." I think twice before I go into putting my actions in place. And I think every one of us should do the same. It's not easy. The life out there doesn't promise us roses. But when we have these kids because they didn't ask us to bring them to this world, we should be able to to listen to them. We should be able to
Yeah.
love them
They didn't ask to be born.
unconditionally.
So if you know you have no love, just don't be a
Yes,
parent. It's simple. The funny thing is that
yes,
people don't know that they have the right not to be parents.
that's
It's
true.
okay. You have a
Especially in
right.
Africa.
You don't need to
Especially
be a
in
parent.
Africa. Yes,
Just continue with your life. And
exactly.
God is not going to say because you are not a parent that is a crime or is a sin. It's okay. Because some
Exactly.
people don't even have the love. Some mothers are not maternal. Their
You're right.
children, you see you see some mothers, they will sit down like this, their child will be crying from morning till night. They don't even care. They won't even
You're
ask
right.
what's happened.
So true.
Their
Mm.
heart is like Pharaoh's heart. It's strong like stone, hardened. The
Serious.
kind of wickedness in their heart, I'll be wondering, but what kind of human beings are these? No empathy for your own.
As in,
Somebody that does not have empathy for their own offspring. A child.
God.
I'm stressing on mothers because mothers are the ones with the womb. They are the ones that carry
Yeah.
pregnancy.
Yeah.
You know how difficult it is to carry a child in your body. A
Mm.
man will never understand it. For another human being
Definitely.
to grow in your
Inside.
body for 9
Wow.
whole months, and then you go
Wow.
through the pain of heaven and earth, you don't know whether you are going to survive it or not. There was no epidural in that time. Most of them
Yes.
had the babies in their homes with local midwife that you don't even know whether you will make it alive from that
You're
delivery.
right. You're
So with
right.
all this pain and everything,
Mm.
you hate the child and you treat the child like the child. Oh my goodness. I can't
Yeah.
understand it. I don't.
Terrible, man.
Thank you very
Terrible.
much, my dear. You need
Thank you
to
so
encourage your
much.
sister to go and get some help, okay?
Yeah, I will. I will try and
Yeah,
talk to her to
please.
even
Yeah,
start
if she
listening
hasn't
to
got the
you.
resources, try and sort her out, come together and help her. She needs to deal with it because it's gonna affect
Yeah,
her relationships. You see,
exactly.
it will affect her as she's an adult already, and you say she's
She
fragile,
she
she cries
is,
all the
yeah,
time.
very fragile.
Yeah, is she in a relationship? Is she married?
I'll tell you that the relationship she entered, the guys only exploited her emotionally,
Yeah,
financially,
it
just
follows.
because of all this.
Yeah, it follows because this is all she know. This is it. She's looking for love in the
Yeah.
wrong places. She'll end up with,
Exactly. The
attracting
wrong
guys like
places.
that because of what your dad has
Exactly.
done to her.
That is the truth. That's the truth.
She needs help. I hope you
She,
guys will be able to help her to get some therapy
oh,
so that she
well,
can get
one of the
better.
first help is if she starts listening to you, I guess she'll have the courage to start.
Yeah,
She can
share the
fend
video with
herself.
her, please.
I
Share
will.
our
I
videos with
will.
her. Yeah,
I
let her
will
come to
do
this
so.
platform. We will ginger
I will
her.
do so. Yeah, I will do so. Thank
Thank
you
you, my
so much.
darling. You're
And have a
welcome.
wonderful holiday.
All
We'll
right,
miss you.
thanks. I
Please
will
come
miss you
back
guys
soon.
too. I will.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Mr.
A
Nature.
pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's a pity. Everybody's talking about parents because this is where the issues start from. And Faith, I'm really, really shocked. I didn't know a lot of things you are saying in the comment section now. I'm just actually learning about these things about you. Wow, I didn't even know you were dealing with something like this in terms of, trying to get to that point of forgiveness and all that. I'm going to talk to you later, okay? It is well. It is well. When I see parents like that, I feel like physically shaking them like this. I will shake them like this and say, "Are you mad? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?" Because children are these small human beings that, I love them so much because they are so pure. They are the only humans that are pure. It is only what the garbage that the adults in their life fill them with that they end up becoming. You see, Mr. Nature just came here now and told us about the dad. And I'm just going to say this on my corner before you speak, my love. That if you are a man here, you are listening. I know we've got a couple of brothers here and some are listening. Please, don't be that father that will come home and as soon as you enter the room or you open the house door, the front door, once the key enter, or once your key turns, every child will start running. Please don't be like that. You are doing something wrong. I've said it before on this platform and I'm repeating it. Don't be that father that will come into the house and you start quarreling from the door. Oh, they didn't wash this. They didn't, the children, the house is untidy. They didn't do this. The children, the problem with African parents is that they want children to behave like adults. I saw a woman one time, I think it was in church or somewhere, I can't remember. And 2-year-old, she was trying to force this 2-year-old to behave. Stop talking. Why are you talking? Keep quiet. I say he's a child. That is the age. He's 2. This is what he's meant to do. He's meant to make noise, run around, just run around because that is the age. There's a reason why they call it terrible twos. You are trying to get a 2-year-old to behave like an adult, and then she start getting frustrated. You see why Igbo people will always take their children out to the park? They will take them out to go and run around so that they will exert themselves and they will be tired. But African parents don't go anywhere. And so work. When you don't go work finish, you can't dey vex. You done all the hours in this world, extra shifts. Now you go take them. And you have young children, then you are burnt out. Even the ones that are living in diaspora. When you come home now, you are so burnt out, you got nothing to give your children. You are angry. As you enter the house, you are so angry with your children. They don't see the best of you. You cannot show love because that love is dried up because of life and all the things that you are putting yourself through. And I keep telling women here all the time, if you have young children, please let your priority be your children. Stop running after everything at the same time. When your children are older, then you have opportunity to pursue other things. You need to choose. If you choose that you want to be career, you want to follow career, then don't even bother with children in this diaspora. Don't. Because at the end of the day, something must give. And it's either your career is giving, if you don't take time off to raise your children, or your children are going to end up 30 years from now, they will come and be sharing the same stories about what you did to them. So please, parents, let's do better. We're not only talking about our own parents or forefather, we're talking about even parents now. Some of these parents are even in the diaspora now. This woman that I'm talking about now, she's in the diaspora. Mean-spirited human being spitting on her own child. Why? What did he do you? Nine do you? Nine say you not go school. I mean, I say you they fail. He's a child. Goodness. I've got you, Jerry. I said I'm not going to talk again. I drink water, but I can still continue to talk. I don't
You
know this
can't.
long now.
You know what fit control am.
No, when it reach the matter, oh, that's my soft spot. I know the fit.
Yeah.
No, I go
I
to
can.
work because of children. I know the fit. That's why I
Yeah.
didn't do children's social work, because all these African parents, I go collect all their children if they try any nonsense. That's why I didn't want to do it. I told my friends when we graduated, I said, let me just go and do all this Baba and Papa, old
Yeah.
people.
They go
The
give you
highest I
bad
can
name for the
do is to
community. Yeah.
go and put them in a home, in a nursing home. But
Yeah.
for children, no, I for no fits. I won't have been able to.
No, therefore not happy at all to say they take their
I
children.
don't
So
care about their happiness. Now the children happiness I care about.
I know. But you know what, Sister B? We they talk about marriage matter, abuse in marriage, men doing all kinds of things to their spouses. Now we see where the foundation is,
Yes, so
right? So imagine these parents now raising children to become adults. How will we not have broken marriages? Please, there's no way we won't. Because you have broken people raising broken people. It's a circle. It continues. Those same broken people were broken by their own parents. And because in Africa, people don't believe in self-development, very tiny person, maybe one or two in a million, you will see actually trying to improve on themselves. They don't believe in it, so they repeat the cycle. And one of your callers said, I think it was Dominic, by the way. Dominic made very salient points, man. Now, you now bring those parents to come and help you with your children. They will now
D.
deposit.
Yeah, it was D.
It was there. They will now deposit those same wrong beliefs into those children. And the circle continues. Now, ignorance, now this thing come from. The people who raise them ignorantly. They raise their own children ignorantly. Children raise other children ignorantly. So the circle continues. So where do we draw the line? We have to draw the line here. I'm going to do different. I will do different. I will be different. I will treat and I will improve on myself so I can do better. That is what all this is pointing to be honest. Because they say if you know better, you do better. Remember that link you sent? The lady that her mother abused her, the one that's a surgeon general in California.
Yeah, her mother had mental health.
Yes, had mental health. At the end of the show, she said, that because of that experience in her childhood, right? She's able to spot when she sees a patient. She can she's not just looking at you
Yeah,
physically,
yeah,
she's
because
seeing more.
yeah, she's a pediatrician, so she's seeing children.
Exactly. So, because of her experience, just to kind of point to some of what Dominic was saying, sometimes we don't have control of what we go through as children. You don't choose which parent you will be your parent. You don't choose who your father or your mother is, right? When you're born into an environment you don't know. So, you learn from whatever environment you were born in. It's now up to you, when you know better, to improve on yourself and choose to do differently. Because if you're waiting for your parents to come and apologize, if you're waiting for relatives that insult did you bad up, they will never, they might never. Some of them will come to themselves, like that lady, like that, like auntie from yesterday. She had her mind is open enough to acknowledge her wrong, apologize publicly. A lot of African parents will never do that. Never. So it takes a lot. Like right now, my mom, there are things she will remember. She say, Omoye, there was something I did to you when you were a child. I'm really sorry. I should not have, maybe I learned. No, I didn't know any better. So you have parents like that who do that. Even my dad, before he passed away, he was very high-handed with some of my older siblings, and he was apologizing. I remember the last conversation I had with my dad, because he was very angry with my mom or something. So some my one of my siblings poured. She was carrying hot water. I don't know where she found it. She spilled it on me, on my chest area, everything. So I have hot water scars all over my chest. I mean, it's better now, right?
Hmm.
My dad
It scarred
apologized.
you.
Yeah, it scarred me for life. I carry that scar, but I carry it proudly, because my dad, when I didn't even think about, my dad just remembered. He said, "You know what, Omoye, you know that scar? I have carried that guilt for so long since you were a child. Please, can you forgive me? It was my fault. I was angry with your mom. She did something. I was so upset with her. I was very angry, and I was. And anytime I'm angry, bad things happen, and this happened
Nothing,
to you."
nothing good ever comes from anger. It's a
Exactly.
negative emotion.
Exactly. So he said to me, "I'm sorry, please, can you forgive me?" I said, "Daddy, I don't even think about it. I accept your apology. I don't even know. You know what I mean? I didn't even know that it was whatever, whether it was you or not." So I said, "No, I have forgiven you. Please, there's nothing to forgive." So I'm saying this to say that sometimes you have parents that will apologize, sometimes you won't. But
Mm-hmm.
it's the power for you to move forward,
Mm-hmm.
acknowledge what has been done to you, forgive, not because of that person, but for your own sake, so you can thrive, so you can do better. Now you know better. Now you can say, "No, my parents, because my siblings do it, like, no, 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 we're not going to do that. No, that's what daddy and mommy did. We will not do that to our kids. We
Mm.
refuse to go." So they're doing their own parenting differently. This is a very heavy topic. And then going back to school, thankfully, I had a phenomenal principal. God rest her soul, Mrs. Alejimele. That woman taught us what it means to own who you are and be who you are.
Isn't,
Man,
isn't this amazing how we can still all remember all these good teachers and principles that we have?
they leave imprints. That's how you know you had a good a person in your life. They leave imprints. Alejimele was tough. She was a tough woman. But then we used to run from her, used to be afraid of her. But when we now reflected back, growing up, everybody was now saying, "Wow, this woman was years ahead of her in
At
her
time.
career, years ahead of her time." Powerful woman. That woman instilled so much in us. And then there was another social studies teacher. Her name was Mrs. Ibrahim. She was the one that taught us the song, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine." She's taught us that song till this very moment. If I'm struggling in any area, I remember that song.
Hmm.
You
See
know,
how
so
important these things are to children.
I'm telling you, it's so important. It cannot be overstated. Because when you're in the influence in a child, sometimes you don't have the influence at home. But you get, just like Gigi was saying when she was narrating her own, she was able, God, she had people around her that were pulling out the best in her because they saw what other people could not see. They saw probably what her relatives or her parents did not see. It's so important for a child to have that, because you might, Oprah, even that during that show, remember when Oprah said she was in school, she was shining because she was intelligent. She was the
Mm-hmm.
brilliant one. Everybody else was
Yeah.
prettier than her, but she got the brains, right?
Yeah.
Remember when she said that?
Yeah.
Exactly. She had teachers who were pouring into her. She had colleagues that poured into her to make her who she is today. So, yes, sometimes just driving home the point that sometimes your parents are not the ones that will give it to you. They're not the ones that will pour all those things in you. It might be people outside. And sometimes your experience is so that you will learn from it and do better. Barack Obama did not grow up with his father. He knew he had struggles in his younger years. But when he decided to have children, he decided he was going to do different. He remembered how he felt not being having a father. He decided to pour and be present in his children's life. Even though when he was president, he made time to have family time with his family, because
Mm-hmm.
he
Mm-hmm.
recognized that that is very impactful and that
Mm-hmm.
will help the children become better people. Tyler Perry, the same thing. He grew up in an abusive home. Father was always hitting on his mom. When he had his child, he said, I will never. He said when he was talking to his child, when the child did something wrong, he was talking to the child, he had to stoop to the child's level and look at the child eye to eye. And as
That's
he
how to
spoke,
talk to children. That's
yes,
how they are trained to talk to children.
exactly. As he was talking to the child, he got deliverance from something that happened to him when he was a child, because he never had a father who looked him in the eye and talked to him. He said there's so many things he's learning about himself just raising his child. So we would never, sometimes some of us will never, have parents that will come and own up to their responsibility.
Yeah, yeah. And that's
You
the
know,
point D was trying to make.
yes, we will
Fosnia was
never.
saying we should make them pay. Let's make them pay.
No, you can't make them pay really, because they're set in their ways. But what you can do for
Mhm.
yourself, you forgive them, you leave them, forgive them. You
Mhm.
choose to do different. And that's what's going to turn the tables around, so that
Yeah,
changes will begin to occur from generation to, you are cleansing the DNA. Because mind you, all these abuses that they were seeing and we're hearing about, it's all in the DNA,
Mhm.
and they keep reproduce. Same people reproduce. We're not even worried about the future abusers. We are more concerned about the present ones that are grown. What about the future abusers? Are they getting the help? That's why parents need to take mental health very, very seriously. Very, very seriously. If you're a single parent, look for a group of people you can surround yourself with that will be a support system, because you're not meant to raise that child by yourself. You're not meant, it's not natural to raise your child all on your own. Find good people that you can surround your children with, so that they can be better citizens. You know, thank God for the positive impacts people have had, those of us that had the opportunity, but we can also choose to be the positive impact in other people's lives.
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Omoye. I'm going to bring in Bio. What happened to you? Uh-oh. It's just disappeared. Bio, you are there. I was going to add you now. Okay. Come on, and sisters. You're here. Sorry, darling. Thanks for your patience. My
Yeah, TV, no
teaching
wahala. No
cabinet. You
wahala.
know, say, I dey always like me with the end the show together. So even if I see you now, I will just wait.
No wahala, no wahala. Anytime if we have to go, we'll always let you know. But today,
Mm.
at least I'm here. Yo-Yo is not here, obviously. So,
Okay. We
Ola is
got
here.
you. We got you today.
Una go
Yeah.
dey see Yo-Yo for weekends.
That's all
Yes.
right. That's all right.
So, I jotted down a lot of points, and I'm very, very thankful to you, Auntie B, for bringing up this topic today. It's like a follow up from yesterday's story. So it's like giving that story the support that it also needs: forgiveness and low self esteem, and parenting, not bringing of children. Thank you for everybody who has called before me, and some points that I've taken from people's speaking of from today is the shyness. Something that got stuck to me was the shyness, and always telling kids that it's good if you're shy. When you're shy, it means that you're respectful.
Mm.
In addition to that, telling the female child that they're supposed to be seen and not heard. So that
Yeah.
brings up timidity right from the young age, wherever you find a little girl maybe in a gathering in class, she doesn't want to speak, she doesn't want to talk because that's how she was raised. That can aid low self-esteem. These the words
Mm-hmm.
that we speak and say to our children. Another thing too is also comparison, and comparison doesn't always come with people comparing us to other people. It's we comparing ourselves to other people, and we see that in the social media age of today. People going into depression because of their low self-esteem, because they're comparing their lives with what they see out there in the
Mm-hmm.
media, or
Mm-hmm.
between themselves as friends. So people find themselves in unhealthy relationships whereby there's good and healthy competition, everybody's striving to be better, but we need to be able to differentiate between healthy comparison and negative comparison. And
Absolutely.
sometimes your friends, you need to be able to spot out friends that give you complimentary insults as opposed to those that are constructively criticizing you. So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, if you have a friend that, let's say you passed your WAEC, you are in Nigeria and you passed your WAEC, or is maybe 1B in math, you're not good in math, and they got B, they got an A in math, but they got B in all the other topics, and they want to put you down because of that B that you've gotten. In everything, that there's nothing like small wins. Every small win that you have, they are
It's
telling you that, oh, why
important. Yeah.
better. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to be able to spot those kind of friends and withdraw. If not, your own mental health, your own situation self, you will always keep drawing back at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day. Another one is bringing up kids in fear. This relates to what we've been talking about parents. Bringing up kids in fear can aid low self esteem. Low self esteem amongst their peers, where they would have negative peer pressure. They won't be able to sift between positive peer pressure and negative peer pressure, because they would see that, maybe you're a parent, you're comparing Ada to Justina. Ada will now want to be like Justina because she feels that her mom loves Justina more than her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you bring up kids in fear, you steal their voice. Very, very important. You steal their voice, because if your kids cannot stand up to you, it's a problem. It's a big problem if your kids cannot stand up to you.
Cannot
At
even
the end,
talk to you.
at some point, they cannot talk to you. They can't. As a human being, as parents, you will make mistakes. You should have kids that have a voice to tell you, oh, mommy, you did this wrong. Oh, daddy, you did this wrong. Because if they are afraid of you, then they'll be afraid of authority. They won't be able to speak out. And we see this happening in Nigeria today, where youths are not able to speak out to authorities because there is that fear, there's that barrier, that ageism. Wherever you want to talk to somebody, oh, will you keep quiet? I'm older than you. Well, if your argument is always about age, like you were existing before me, you should actually find some more points, because it's not a strong argument. You can make what's it called? You can make a you can be problematic as a parent as well. And you should not be bringing up kids in fear in this day and age, because now we're in the age of social media. So anybody that is literally under the umbrella of fear, we see that today there's more depression and things happening. And if your kids can't talk to you, you've literally lost them. And it's not good for you to be part of the damage that is happening in the world today. Another thing
Mm-hmm.
is being vulnerable. I know in Africa, and this can be related to self-esteem too. In Africa, we're taught, oh, you're supposed to be tough. If something is wrong with you, don't tell people anything. If you're having mental health issues, oh, keep quiet about it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're sick, don't
Yeah.
talk. If you don't do. But we need to learn how to be vulnerable, but not only just
Yeah.
be vulnerable like that. Be vulnerable with the right people that
Yeah.
will not add to your pain, people that you
That's
can trust.
this is what the ladies in that panel, well, this is what
Yes.
they call it wearing the black woman's cape.
Mm-hmm.
So as a
Mm-hmm.
black woman now, you are told all the time that you have to be strong. You
Mm-hmm.
have to be strong. There's a problem with being strong. No
Mm-hmm.
human being can be strong all the time. Okay?
Big problem. Big
So
problem.
it's like, expecting some, black women to wear we are debating a little bit now, but it's still very
No,
important that we talk about
it's
it.
part of it. Mm-hmm.
Superman,
Yeah.
black woman wear
The cape.
a superwoman cape. So don't show your
Mm-hmm.
tears. And we say
Mm-hmm.
that to our boys as well. Don't show
Yes.
your vulnerability, and hell, no weakness.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be strong all the time.
All the time. All the
It
time, Auntie
results
B.
in mental breakdown if you
Mm-hmm.
are like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Or
Auntie
you
B.
raise your boys and you start telling them, don't cry. Boys don't cry. Says who?
Mm-hmm.
Where is it
Mm-hmm.
written that boys don't cry?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm that kind of person whereby I always believe that I should be strong all the time. I'm working on myself now, obviously. I still do believe that I should be strong, but I know where my limits are. And I had like a professor who pointed this out to us in class, and I was struggling with it. And she was saying, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay and I'm like, what do you mean it's okay to be why should I be telling people outside what my problems are? What I couldn't understand it. And I fought a lot. I had this professor for 2 courses for 2 years. And it was after I graduated from school that I started seeing the things that she was saying. So that's
Mm.
something that, from my own angle. Another thing with relation to this low self-esteem is some Nigerians have low self-esteem, but they mask it by putting other people down. So you
Mm-hmm.
might see some people that,
That's some black people generally.
they are in the darkest of all dark places, and maybe they're probably always cursing you out. The moment you learn that what people are saying to you is not about you, it's a reflection of themselves, that
Mm-hmm.
way you can get some kind of peace.
Yeah,
Because if this person is calling you out, backing at you, then it's their own, they are fighting with
that's their
themselves.
business. Yeah,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
it's
Then I
got
have
nothing to do with
it
you.
don't have to do with you, yeah. Then I have some
Mm.
solutions too today. Number
Mm-hmm.
one, on how to, and TB, you've spoken on a lot of things, but just other things to add on how to grow away from, leave the WhatsApp group chat of low self esteem, like you said.
Yes,
Number
there's a
one,
WhatsApp.
there's
Mm.
WhatsApp group. Number one,
There's a WhatsApp group. Leave it.
is never underestimate the power that you have. And to be, if you've noticed, anytime I'm talking, I'm always screaming it out to you and to the audience. Never underestimate the power of what you possess. I feel like once you know that, that's like your armor. That's where you walk into the room and you're like, if I'm walking into the room, you know that Ella is here. If I'm speaking, you know that Ella is here because I know what I am. I know what I'm made of. I know what I know. And nobody can tell me something about myself that I don't already know. So that will help you a lot. Always admiring yourself, always complimenting yourself. If you're passing by the mirror or whatever, just give yourself compliments. Live a life that is free. Allow yourself live. Pamper yourself. All these things will help your esteem. If it's your nails that makes you happy, get yourself your manicure, your manicure, your pedicure. Always look good. Anything that will aid your self-esteem and make you happy with yourself, do it. And anything that hinders your peace, discard it. If it's family, you distance yourself because the less they know about you, the better it is. They cannot come into your inner space until they are welcome. Another thing that can help with self esteem is to be kind to yourself. Oftentimes, some people always put down themselves, they are never enough. You should learn to tell yourself that you're enough, and you should learn to be
Thank
kind
you.
to yourself.
Bio, you've gone again. Amen. Now, wow. I don't know. Is it your internet or what? What's happening? You've disappeared again. Wow. Okay.
Mm,
Thank you so much, Ella. I think we are
mm,
going to end on this note.
mm,
Amaya, do
mm.
you still have anything to add before we close?
All I have to add is that thank you very much, Ella, for those very
Mm.
powerful points. That was very well stated. Thanks so much.
Thank
And
you.
everybody else that has commented, everybody that has contributed, great points. I have also learned myself. And also continuously working on improvement and all of that. All I want to add is this. Remember, sometimes you will never get the forgiveness that you seek from someone else. You will never hear I'm sorry from the person that has hurt you. But
True.
it is up to you to choose, right? To forgive that person regardless of whether they say it or not. I have to reemphasize that because
Mm-hmm.
I know as people sometimes we struggle with forgiveness. It's a human it's human to struggle with it, but it is very, very profitable for you at the end, regardless of how much you've been hurt. There are people who have been hurt in so many ways, but then when they choose to let go, then everything just starts to fall in line with for them, and everything starts to make sense for them. Be who you are. Listen to that video that Sister B did. Your identity, recognize who you are and hold on to that. Know that no one on this planet, no one who's living, right, can make you feel worse than you can make yourself feel. You choose to take the high road. You don't have to respond to everything that anyone says, or you don't have to let anyone make you feel worse of
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Choose to love yourself and choose to continue to do the necessary work so we can have a better community, better families, healthier families. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you very much, Sister B.
Thank
Always,
you, my
always
darling.
learning, changing lives,
We thank
one
God.
show at a time.
One show
Love
at a
you.
time. Yes,
Love
so we
you.
bless God. Love you
Love
too,
you.
sweetie. Have a good evening. Yeah,
You
thanks,
too.
Amoye. Yeah. So, my people, Ella.
Auntie B,
Hmm?
final words on behalf of my sister. Yo, who is
Okay.
my special today?
Who's in our session today?
Hey!
Make una subscribe, whoa.
Subscribe, like, and
Like
share
this
this video.
video. Subscribe
Subscribe,
to
like, and
Common Sense
share.
Sisters too. And Omoye's Corner. Omoye's Corner actually has a channel called Solution
Yes, so
Focus.
it's
Our
called
channel is
Omoye's
called
Corner.
Solution
It's
Focus.
called Omoye's Corner.
Is it
She
Omoye's
changed
Corner
the
she
name.
calls it now, Solution
Yes,
Focus?
yes.
You
It's
know she
Omoye's
rotates
Corner.
between the two names. Omoye, you need to pick one and stick to it. You're
He has
confusing
picked
me.
Omoye's Corner. Omoye's in the corner and in the corner of wisdom. You can
She's
find
in the
Omoye's
corner.
Omoye's Corner. He's the number one search when you find on Google, so you know go miss him.
You know go miss
You know
her.
go miss am,
Okay.
yes. Mhm.
All
So my
right.
final words, and we're talking about forgiveness and self-esteem. Now let's marry two of them together. I know
Mm-hmm.
it's good to forgive people, oh, but we are forgetting one thing. We must forgive ourselves for
Yeah.
allowing people treat us badly.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't forgive ourselves, how can we forgive other people that have wronged us?
Mm-hmm.
So forgive yourself today and celebrate small wins. Remember to tell yourself every time you pass a mirror or whenever you think of yourself, say, I am enough, I am beautiful, and I am handsome. Thank you so much, Auntie B. Have a wonderful time of
Thank
okay,
you, my darling.
not be for social media.
Yes, so
Okay,
give my
God
love to Yo-Yo. Tell and say we miss am plenty, and I will see
bless.
you guys. I don't
When
know.
you
I will
come
see
back,
you guys. I will see you
we'll
guys
be
when
here.
I come back.
Yeah,
Yes.
no wahala.
May
Thank
una pray
you.
for me. May God let me feel stay away from YouTube.
Auntie B, if you come to YouTube, we're gonna find you
Mona
10
drive
pounds.
me if I come.
10 pounds. 10 pounds for
Mona
every
pray for
next
me.
video.
Make I not log in. Make I not just come near
Don't log
YouTube.
in, no, Auntie
Make
B.
I take the time to really cool off
This is for your
because
mental health. Auntie B, you have to
yes,
practice what you are preaching now to take care of
okay.
yourself.
Yes, I'm going to
This one will
stand in
give you
front of the mirror. Stay
peace
away
too.
from YouTube. Stay away from the show. Stay away from the show.
Okay, Auntie
Thank
B.
you, my
Thank
darling. Have a
you.
good afternoon over there.
Bye-bye.
Love you very much. My love to your sister, the other half of the Common Sense Sisters. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for being here. I hope we've been able to, pass one or two messages across tonight to as many people that are watching. This sort of video never attracts a lot of people, but those who will learn will learn. Okay. Uh, if you're watching this now, please give this video a thumbs up. If you're gonna watch it later on when we finish the live show, also remember to give the thumbs up and subscribe. And please remember that you are fearfully and wonderfully created by God. God has made us in his image and in his likeness. We are sons and daughters of the King. So do not allow anybody to put you down. You are enough. You are beautiful. You are handsome. God has made you and is giving you, is equipped you with everything you need. The reason why you are in that WhatsApp group of low self-esteem esteemers is because of what somebody has done to you. It was beyond your control. It's not something that you could stop because you were a child. It's not something you could stop because it happened to you. But as adult now, there are ways that you can, you can survive and that you can get your esteem back. Okay, other people have come to speak tonight. Gigi has spoken, about how you can do it. It's possible. Okay, therapy. Okay, affirmation, self-affirmation, building your yourself up. Okay, you need to build yourself up mentally. Okay, using the word of God, prayers. Okay, so many things that you can do to ensure that you get your assertiveness, being assertive back. Okay, don't be afraid, don't live a life of fear, because fear is not of God. Faith is of God. Have faith in God, like Auntie that came yesterday from Kenya and told us about her faith, unshakable faith in God, and it shall be well with us. I pray that God will equip all of us that are parenting now. He will give us the wisdom and the tools to parent our children safely so that we don't end up with another generation of damaged people. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I'm going to leave you here tonight. Please give this video a thumbs up And I shall see you when I see you. I will see you when I see you. Thanks a lot, guys. I'm going to drop the mic here tonight, and take care of yourself until I come your way again. Be good, be kind, show empathy, show love. It costs nothing. These are the kind of things that cost nothing. Subscribe, it costs nothing as well. Okay? And yeah, take care of yourself, and I'll speak to you later. Love you guys. Bye bye. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks, Ella. Ekami. Thank you. Bio, you change your mind to speak. We'll talk again. No wahala. Thank Nick Deji. Irene. Thank you. West 21. Thank you. Amake. Thank you. Thank you, Solution Focus, aka MIS Kana. Love you very much. Have a good evening, guys. Bye.